Okay, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. MythVision podcast. Apostate Prophet, welcome back, man. How are you?
Thank you. How are you? I'm very well.
I'm doing really good. I'm going to get our intro here, and then what we plan on doing is allowing our Muslim friends to come on and bring evidence, right, to prove Islam is true, or what convinces them that Islam is true.
Yeah.
And yeah, did you want to say anything before we make that happen?
I want to say just come here, tell me why Islam is true, prove it to me, convince me. And yeah, let's get this party started.
All right, all right.
Don't any of you have the guts to pay for blood?
I'm your huckleberry. That's just my game.
We are MythVision. Welcome back to MythVision Podcast. Apostate Prophets joining me today. And we're going to send out this invite here in just a moment. We hope that...
Wait a minute. Why didn't you split the moon in two?
Oh.
What's going on here? They're just... There you go. Fantastic.
Awesome. You're an eyewitness of that. So
now we can start. Yeah, now we can start.
Absolutely true. So making sure you know that.
Yeah.
Seriously, though, if you have no clue, you should. Apostate Prophet has a massive YouTube channel continuing to grow. And mainly he focuses on his past religion in Islam. And he discusses critically why he's no longer a Muslim, but also goes into issues about God and you name it. It's a really interesting channel. You've blown up over the past few months. It's really interesting. We had like 306 or 9,000. I don't even know where you were at, and you've blown up. What happened?
I don't really know. I have no idea why people even subscribe to the channel. It's very dumb. Just kidding. I've been trying to be more productive, more efficient with my videos, with my planning and everything. So it has been going very well. Some Muslim apologists have also helped me very much, like Ali Dawa, for example, have helped me very much with the success of the message that we are trying to convey. But this is not enough. We need more. We need more people to join and more people to subscribe to this channel and to your channel too.
Yeah, you do a lot, mainly, like I said, in your previous religion. If you haven't joined MythVision's Patreon, consider doing so. All this early content I work hard to make. And of course, you can private message me. There's a community there. I work very hard on doing that. And I have a lot of live streams coming up. So there's content on my Patreon that will never make it into the public. Literally hundreds of videos that will never go public. So just a heads up, if you wanted to help support the channel, you can do that. Now, let me get the invite link here, and I want to ask that everybody please be respectful. Maybe we should address this up front, AP, because many people in the chat are already using the APUS.
Oh no, it's completely fine. I don't need to address it. I mean, it's just when people want to come in because of my status and because of who I am as an ex-Muslim and a critic of Islam, and they want to insult me, they are free to do that. And the thing is, if they do that, and they have to live with the consequences of me also, insulting back what is valuable to them, such as their religion, for example. Otherwise, I'll be as respectful as one can be. Yeah, but if you want to insult me, I will return the favor. That's just what I want to say.
Okay. Well, I just want to give a fair warning. I would like to have respectful dialogue, especially since I want to hear what people have to say. I really do. I don't want to cut people off. I also am not interested in a diatribe or a sermon that is like nonstop. Like try to be to the point as much as you can. Present one of the reasons that you're convinced and why, what makes you believe that Islam is true, etc. And then, of course, have a conversation. This might be one of the few places you can actually do that with AP and actually be like, you know what, we had a really fun, nice conversation. We'll see. Yeah. So, all right, I'm pinning that comment. I just put that in here. I like to give us a little warning in advance, like what we're hoping for. So we do have a super chat here while we're waiting for people to come in. Sid Dave, thank you for the super chat. Good to see you here. Mo was a fake con man. The real true prophet was Joseph Smith. Thank goodness God sent some real prophets as well. You're a trip. You're a trip. Not a way to start off the episode if we're gonna have like nice dialogue back and forth.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I really want to tell people all the antics and all the the stuff aside. I really always hope to have productive conversations with people, and that's what I would wish for. That's what I expect on my channel, on debate platforms, and on this one as well. I mean, if people want to come on and have honest, respectful, nice exchanges, I am always open to this. I will never attack somebody first. So please just do that. Leave your emotions aside.
Yeah, I asked that only Muslims will call in. That would be the goal.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that we can get different ones than what we usually have had. That is our goal. Please. Anyway. All right.
Muslims, please.
Yes.
We don't want anyone else. We only accept Muslims here.
Yes. That is our aim. The goal is interfaith dialogue. If I wanted to have like an open whoever, I'd have an open conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Non-Muslims not welcome.
I have some people in the chat already, and Yusuf, it says you're not connected. Your device is not connected, so it does not work. N and D, welcome to MythVision.
Yo,
hello,
welcome.
Hey, welcome to MythVision. How are you?
I'm great. I'm a recent convert to Islam.
Well, welcome. What convinced you?
Well, I've been reading all the major religions about like Zoroastrianism, like Islam, like Hinduism, Judaism, Christianity. But Islam convinced me that it is the one and true religion.
Okay.
Because, the thing is that the first religion of the book is Judaism, which was like come around in 500 BCE during the time of like the Talmud. But
did you say the Talmud?
The thing is that the Talmud.
500 BC?
Yeah, 500 BC. Look, the first written evidence of Judaism is from the David. Like Abraham is but
I don't know if you're getting if he's cutting off or what's going on.
No, everything's clear.
No, I don't know what's going on exactly. It's like actually the oldest evidence that we have of scripture, the biblical scripture, goes, I think, currently the most recent found one goes like to 1000 BC. Yeah. And there are fractions
like
of the text.
It's Islam of David. Like Moses' 10th commandment was the oldest. Because we don't know about the Abraham. Like we say the Abraham existed 4,000 years, but his actual date is conflicted.
Can I ask you, what did you follow, or did you follow any religion before you converted to Islam?
Yeah, I was basically a Hindu before.
Okay.
But
and when did you convert to Islam?
Like a month ago.
A month ago. And why do you think Islam is absolutely true?
Because there are certain things in Islam. When I studied about the as you can see in Quran, there are many things that were written about like Big Bang theory and etc. There are some things which are later proven by the science.
But first of the Quran never mentions anything that is close to the Big Bang theory. For example, that's
No,
a
they are mentioned in the.
misrepresentation of the Quran.
They were mentioned in the Sunnah of the Prophet, in the Hadith, Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim.
No, the Big Bang, something like the Big Bang, is
There are
never
many
mentioned
things.
in any of these sources. Can you give me an example of something that you think describes the Big Bang in Islamic texts?
Like, it was the theory of atom. It was written in. It was in
You
the
can
Sunnah.
use all.
Like, I don't know the exact name of Sunnah. Like the last
Okay,
in the last stream you talked about of the 360 joints. The
okay, can you
Muhammad
give me an
said that.
example of where it describes the Big Bang, for example?
Like, I don't know, but I heard it. Many Muslim scholars and everybody, they say that the Big Bang is written in our religion, in Islam. But I don't know. I cannot point out the.
Some Muslim scholars would say that, but that is simply not true. That's a huge misinterpretation of the Quran. The Quran doesn't describe anything like that remotely. What they might be referring to is a certain Quran verse that says something along the lines of, "Do you not see that that the world and the world and the heavens were one, and then we separated them." That's what it says, but that's not a description of the Big Bang, not even remotely. That's merely an old mythological idea of how the world came into existence, such as that God created heavens and a solid earth as one entity, and then he separated them into two different things and established the heavens above the earth. That doesn't really describe anything. That's what the Quran
Yeah,
describes.
I was reading many this historical things, that there was a Greek philosopher, like, I don't know, his name was Democritus. He gave the idea of atom around the Peloponnese War, when the
Okay.
Athens and Sparta were fighting. He was a Democritus. He gave the idea of atom, that everything consisted or made up of small particles, which is called atom.
Okay. And what does that have to do with Islam?
Brother, the real thing is that I converted to Islam on my own, but after reading many things, I'm just conflicting about. I have read many things that now that I just want to leave Islam, bro.
Okay. Are you trolling?
No, I'm not trolling. The thing is that I converted to Islam,
Okay. Well, I
but
think you
after
should leave
reading many
Islam.
things, I just wanted to leave this religion. And
Good job. I think you should leave Islam. That's very, very nice.
Okay. And there is
Okay.
also, I just want to talk about the last thing, that there was a library, there was a hospital in the Persian city of Gunde Shahpur before Muslim conquest. And in that library, there were many physicians, and they were working on human anatomy. So the 360 joints were probably
that's very interesting. I think we should just move on to the next caller. I really appreciate you joining, and
thank you, brother. I just
wish
want to
you
talk about two
good
things
luck.
about that.
No, I
I read many things that.
think we should just move on to the next caller, Derek. Thank
All
you,
right.
Andy. I
Yeah.
think. Please.
I don't know.
Please.
Listen, I'm just sitting back. You can't judge me. I'm literally just trying to be fair and give everybody an opportunity to prevent proof that Islam is true, and do a good job. All I'm asking is that people just give us what really convinced you. What was the things?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to make I don't want to convict. I don't want to make claims here about people, but this just to me very strongly seems like either he's trolling, or he's not a Muslim and he's just kind of trying to talk about certain things and calls in because only Muslims are supposed to call in or something like that. I couldn't take that seriously. I'm sorry.
No, I'm at your mercy here. So what we do from this point forward, last time didn't work out so well, was this back and forth debate. Sometimes you get caught up in it, especially when predestination's on the table. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to step in. But let me know if we need to move to the next caller. If for whatever reason you feel that, I'm just sitting back. Anyway, super chats real quick, if you don't mind. Critical faculty, thank you, my friend Hanny. Just a quick hello and in appreciation of your efforts. Cheers, Derek. Thank you, Hanny. I appreciate the support. Go subscribe to him. Gnostic Informant, my buddy Neil. I got to connect you back with Neil again. Subhan, what's that mean? Subhan, Apostate Prophet.
Yeah, great. There is a phrase, Subhanallah. So that's just a modification of
He's just
Apostate Prophet. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that love, Neil. Appreciate that, man. D Bordeaux, is it Baudria? I butcher your last name. I apologize. It must be exhausting for AP to always be the bigger person and stay as calm and respectful as he does while being attacked, but we love him for it. Thank you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Sometimes I ask myself why the hell I do that. Today, for example, I had an incident where I had a debate and I apologized for sounding a little bit offensive, and just a few minutes later I was basically told that ex-Muslims deserve to be killed and all that. And I'm thinking, man, why the hell am I supposed to be the person who just stays reasonable and, but thank you, I appreciate it. What can I say?
Yeah, no, it's sometimes our beliefs are pretty sick too, so that's another thing. I suspect you have a little patience. You're trying to hope that some people will wake up from it. You've had that happen before. So Sid Dave, last one. Allah wanted to abolish adoption, but he wanted to make sure there was an example we can follow, so he sent a divine revelation so that Mo could marry Zainab, or is it Zainab?
Zainab, yeah.
All praise to Allah was his divine wisdom. Is this like a joke?
Yeah. There is an incident actually where Muhammad marries his adopted son Zayd to this woman Zainab, who is also his cousin. And later something happens and that guy divorces Zainab, and Muhammad immediately marries her. And when you look at the background of the story, according to the early biographies, what happened is that Muhammad once went to their house and the guy Zayd was not there, so he saw Zainab in clothing that made her look attractive. And then he was like, oh, praise Allah or something like that. And then she noticed that and told her husband that Muhammad did that. And he went to him and said, hey, if you want my wife, I will divorce her. So he divorced his wife and Muhammad married her. And then people were outraged and said, how can you marry your son's wife? And then he said, well, he's not my real son, he's only my adopted son. So and then this rule came into existence that your adopted sons are not your real sons, and the same rules don't apply, or something like that. It's kind of a messed up thing.
One more. Zagros, good to see you here. Thank you for the support. 360 joints. People die all the time. Bodies decompose, leaving bones behind. A human with a brain can count all bones, joints. Nothing miraculous.
Yeah. There's a hadith that was brought up yesterday to me by some Muslim that a certain hadith actually says that Muhammad said a human body has 360 joints, and that this is somehow miraculous. It's actually not miraculous at all. I looked into it a little bit later. Just like many others, it's something that was known before, that was recorded before, that was kind of a like folk knowledge. And the hadith doesn't actually say 360 joints. It just says 360 pieces, and which is then interpreted as joints, or can also be called joints. Plus, a human body doesn't necessarily have 360 joints. That's just to guess. It's somewhere between 300 and 380 or something like that. I don't know.
Thank you. All right, next caller, Ali Kobe. Welcome to MythVision.
Oh, hello?
Hello. Ali. Hey.
Yo. Wait, hold on. It's lagging. I'm about to pause. Hold on. Give me a sec.
The echo. I know what you're talking about, how it echoes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so I'm about to present some miracles, and I want you to either refute it or give your stance on it, all right? All right, this is 1,400 years ago, okay? 1092, okay? Today we will preserve your body so you can be a sign for people who come after you. Surely many people are heedless of our signs. Now explain how a man in the desert 1,400 years ago could know this.
You're talking about the instance of the pharaoh, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm not exactly sure about the details of that. I would love to make a refutation video of that sometime. I think I looked into that before, but I never really cared about it, because the issue is that the claim that this is a miracle is actually not really true. We don't have the body of that supposed pharaoh who was, according to the Quranic narrative, or according to the Quranic timeline, drowned in the sea while
No,
chasing.
bro. This body was discovered in 1898.
Okay, we don't know whose body that actually is. We don't know that this is the body of that
No.
certain
Yes, we do. Yes.
ruler. No, we don't.
No.
Of
Listen.
that certain ruler.
Wait.
We have bodies of different pharaohs and rulers, because it was a common practice among them to preserve bodies. We don't have actual proof that this is the body of a certain of that certain ruler. We don't even know which one that was. Plus,
Okay, listen.
we don't even have evidence that this is something that was found floating in the ocean. So there's a lot to that.
Okay, here's my response, bro. You're just making stuff up. First of all, okay. First of all, this is a dead body of Ramses II, right? He was an Egyptian pharaoh in the era of Prophet Moses, peace be upon him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So exactly. So what are you
Yeah,
saying? This is a random person? That you're just lying.
I have never said it's a random person. I've said we don't know if that is that person who was, according to the Islamic narrative, drowned. We don't even know who that is.
No, we have confirmed it. It's been studied in multiple studies, actually.
You have confirmed that pharaoh was this one. Can you prove that? Do you have evidence for that?
There's display in the Royal Mummies Museum. Look in Cairo. You can see the display in the Royal Mummies Museum, and it says the age.
Do we have evidence that it was actually that pharaoh?
Yes, we do. Why?
No, we don't.
We have evidence. We have we have narrations. We have chain of narrations. You're too ignorant to believe that, bro.
Chain of narrations.
You wouldn't believe that, bro.
Chain of narrations by anthropologists. Is that?
I'd like
bro, we have. Wait, listen.
Ali, quick question,
physical
Ali.
Evidence, bro. Yes.
Ali, quick question.
Physical evidence is not a thing.
I'm interested in knowing, how do we, like, all right, so you know how Egyptian pharaohs were mummified all the time.
Yeah.
What is it that's unique about this mummified pharaoh that you're saying is a miraculous claim that is different from any other pharaoh that's ever been mummified? What makes this one?
Okay, basically God's giving us a sign and warning us, right? He's letting us know that he's the only one, right, who can possess this intelligence, right? And bro, this is literally the body of Ramses II. He's an Egyptian pharaoh, right? It's in display. He was found in the Red Sea. Its age was 3,000 years old, and it was found in the Red Sea. Is now on display in the Royal Mummies Museum in Cairo. This is confirmed. You're just saying, oh, we don't know what body it is. Actually, we do know, buddy.
You're not listening to me. I'm telling you, we do not know who the specific pharaoh is that the Quran would be talking about. We simply do not have accurate information on that. There is no way ever for us to verify that. That's what I'm telling you. I'm not telling you that the body that we have. Maybe I did say that before in the confusion, but I'm not telling you that the body that we have is unverifiable. That it's a random guy. I'm telling you, you can't confirm the Islamic narrative, the Quranic narrative. You can't say that this is that body.
Okay. I'm gonna say another one, okay?
Okay, sure.
So this is about the darkness and waves in the seas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Surah 40, Surah Noah, verse 40. So, or the condition of the deniers is like darkness in the deep sea. There covereth him a wave above, which is a wave above, which is a cloud, layer upon layer of darkness. When he held it out his hand, I don't know what translation this is, but he scarfed can see it. And for he whom Allah had not appointed light for him, there is no light. So how come 1400 years ago, where the Prophet in the desert, right? How could he have known this? The depthness of the ocean, that there's no light down there.
What you're essentially asking is, how could Muhammad know that the ocean is dark?
Yes, exactly. So 1400 years ago. And the waves in the darkness of the ocean.
Derek, please answer one thing to me. Do you think if somebody 2,000 years ago, or forget 2000. If somebody 3000 years ago says the ocean is dark, the ocean is dark inside, do you think that is something miraculous that nobody could have ever known?
No, but yeah, obviously not.
Listen, Apos.
This is yeah. You can go ahead and say that. I can say Mopus.
What is it that?
Do you agree that? Do you agree that?
Yo,
if you
listen.
call me, do you agree that if you call me?
Okay,
Apus,
Ridwan.
Do you
Okay,
agree that if
Ridwan,
you call me
Ridwan.
Apus, I can also call your Prophet Muhammad?
Okay,
Mopus?
don't do that.
So
Oh,
let's
okay.
not be offensive.
Okay,
All right.
okay, listen, buddy.
See, that's
So
how
in the
cricket
deep
works.
seas and oceans, darkness is found in 200 meters and deeper. Okay, so how
Okay.
could you have known this? You can't just directly go to the ocean.
Yeah. What does the Quran say? It says darkness
Listen.
upon darkness. That's what it says. Does it say
Listen.
it becomes darker the deeper you get? It doesn't. It says darkness upon darkness. It's
Waves
a
upon
poetic
waves. Look,
It's a poetic description of
I'm not
what
done yet.
happens with the
I'm not
ocean
done
with
yet.
waves.
Listen.
What does that have to do with what you're saying?
Yo, be quiet, bro. Listen, you can't if you put your head directly in the water, right? You
Yeah.
can't see that it's deep, right? You have to go 200 meters deep, right? So how could you have known this 1400 years ago? Tell me.
That is not what the Quran describes. The Quran just literally says darkness and waves upon waves. It doesn't say that that the ocean gets deeper so much that you know.
Well,
it doesn't describe certain degrees, certain distances, or anything at all. You are interpreting this in such a way that it fits your idea.
No, it doesn't.
It should say.
Listen, it says there's no light, so it's implying that it doesn't have to say that, right? It says that there's no light, so that obviously says that the ocean is deep, right? So how can you deny that?
Let's read the Quran verse. Let's read the Quran verse, okay? Let's read the Quran verse.
What is this?
Quran 24. What was it? 40 or something like that, right? Can you confirm that? Was it Quran chapter 24 verse 40?
Hold on, let me find another one. It's in Surah Nur, I'm pretty sure. Let me find another translation.
Nur is 24.
What is it?
Okay, yeah, that's it. Surah Nur.
It's Quran chapter 24 verse 40.
Okay.
I'm happy to inform you that 24 is actually Nur.
There's different versions of this, but did you want to read it?
So here is the Sahih International translation of the verse. It says, or they are like darknesses within an unfathomable sea, which is covered by waves, upon which are waves, over which are clouds, darknesses, some of them upon others. When one puts out his hand, he can hardly see it, and he to whom Allah has not granted light, for him there is no light. Derek, what do you get from this?
Stop asking him.
I mean, no, I mean, they like
I want a second opinion here.
This is the way I understand it. When I lived in Puerto Rico and I swam in the ocean all the time, and when you look down, even swimming on the surface, you look down, you can tell just by looking from the surface, it gets darker when you're looking straight down.
No. Listen to me.
Let me give you my experience.
But that's not how that sounded. That sounded more like.
I went to the coast like years back when I was a late teenager, right? To meet with an old friend, and we went to the to the coast on a very rainy day, and we had this idea of swimming against the waves, and then we would look down into the water, and it just looks very eerie because it's completely dark. You can't see anything. You can't see your own hands or your own arms when you stretch them out. That's what you see, and then waves come upon waves, and it's just completely dark. Now read this Quran verse again. I read you this Quran verse again. Let me do this one more time.
Listen,
Sahih International Translation. Please don't interrupt me. It says, or like darknesses within an unfathomable sea, which is covered by waves, upon which are waves, over which are clouds, darknesses, some of them upon others. When one puts out his hand therein, he can hardly see it. And he to whom Allah has not granted light, for him there is no light.
Okay,
now, does this simply describe a darkness with waves of water, or does this say, hey, you know what, guys? The more you go into the water, the more there is no light because there is no source of light down there.
I'll tell you.
Please, man.
So basically, this verse mentions the darkness found in deep seas, right? In ocean. So if a person puts hand in the water, he can't see it, right? The darkness, like in the depth of seas in the ocean, is found in 200 meters, right? So at this depth, there's no light, right? And also, 1400 years ago, there's no submarine equipment to see that, right? Like if you go like more than like 4 or 5 meters without the aid of submarines or like equipment, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's impossible, right? You're gonna drown. A normal man's gonna drown. He doesn't have equipment. So how could he have known this? This is truly a miracle. You can't deny it.
What are you talking about? The Quran verse says at the end,
darkness.
he to whom Allah has not granted light, for him there is no light. First off, you try to connect that to the description of how light works within the water. Has nothing to do with the point at all. It's connected from the earlier verse, which talks about nur given to people who are guided by Allah, and those who are not guided will not have the light. That's literally what this is about. And this part of the verse is merely about darknesses of waves. If you are lost in waves, there is no way out for you. You are lost in darkness. You look down, you can't see anything, and so on. There is nothing here at all that corresponds to what you are claiming.
Okay,
you should stop with these.
No, listen. So
real
basically,
quick, Ali, but here's something I noticed in that verse too, just to get you. I'd like to get your thoughts on this. When one puts out his hand therein, he can hardly see it. Like, it's very dark. It's hard to see one's hand. If this wasn't something that the writer himself is aware of, or is writing about something that people were already doing, that they were aware of, like, when you put your hand in there, you can barely see it. Why add that in that verse?
Because it was 1400 years ago. You don't realize the fact that you don't realize how times changed.
What's more likely? That was a miracle claim, or someone was in the waters and have had experience putting their hands in waters that were dark, and they're using it as an analogy.
Miracle. It's not an analogy. It's literally like God's giving us.
It is literally an analogy. It says explicitly here. It describes disbelief. It describes those who do not know, those who disbelieve, and it says they are. It describes them like darknesses within an unfathomable sea, which is covered by waves upon waves in darkness. It is literally an analogy of people who are ignorant and who don't see. You are reading into
for you. That's for you. You're the one that's ignorant.
That is literally what this is.
For
it's
you,
an analogy.
Listen,
it is literally an analogy. This is not my opinion. It's literally an analogy. This is not my opinion. It's not my opinion.
Okay, listen. Scientists have recently discovered that there are internal waves, right, which occur on density like interfaces between like layers of density, such as internal waves, right, surface wave, dense water. So, like, it says that it's covered by waves above which are waves, above which are clouds, right? That the deep waters of seas and oceans are covered by waves, right? And above them are another waves. So it's clear that this second set of waves are the surface waves that we see, because this verse mentions that above the second wave there are clouds. But what about scientists have already discovered this? Like you can't refute it. You can't refute it. It's impossible.
Does it say the clouds are in the water?
Bro, you can read it for yourself, and you can read this 1,000 times.
I have read it 1,000 times. Where does it say that the clouds are inside the water? Tell me where exactly does it say that the clouds are inside the water?
It says in a deep sea, it's covered by waves.
It doesn't say in a deep sea. It says like a darkness within an unfathomable sea, which is covered by waves, upon which are waves, over which are clouds. Does it say that the clouds? Does it say that the clouds are inside the water?
I don't know. I'm not looking at the same translation as yours.
This was Sahih International. I can read Pictol. Or is darkness on a vast abysmal sea? There covereth him a wave, above which is a wave, above which is a cloud. Does it say that the clouds are inside the water?
Clouds are inside. I don't know, bro. I'm just telling you that
it doesn't.
Bro.
It says the sea is covered by waves, covered by waves, covered by waves, above which there is a cloud. That's literally what it says. Where exactly do you get this whole thing that it describes waves inside the water and that there are clouds in the water or something like that? What's
I don't know. There's many studies done and stuff. You won't understand. Like you don't have the brain capacity.
I know that there's many studies done and stuff which show that the clouds are actually in the water in this Quran verse and stuff.
Okay, there's many. Okay, bro,
please stop, man. This is embarrassing. Come up with something better. This is not a miracle. This is stupidity.
It is a miracle.
This is sheer stupidity.
You're gonna be embarrassed on the day of judgment. Okay, you're gonna be embarrassed.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have any more, Ali?
Do you have actual miracles to present, or are these your giant miracles?
I just told you. Okay, let's go back to the Pharaoh one. That's confirmed that it was Ramses II. Even your chat was spamming, yes, this is a body of Ramses II. So how can you refute that?
Dude, did I tell you? Did I tell you the body is not Ramses II? Did I tell you? Did I not just say multiple times that we have no way of affirming who exactly the Pharaoh was who was chasing Moses? I mean,
bro.
I think we're done here, man. I'm not getting anything coherent out of this. As for as I said from the very beginning, I have been very honest and upfront. I said I have not looked very much into the argument of the pharaoh body. I looked into it prior to this. I would love to make a.
I have another one. I have another one.
I would love to make a response to this as a video. I could do that
Okay.
as soon as.
I have another one. I know you.
I'll look out for that.
Okay,
you want to do one more, AP?
Videos.
If he wants to have another one, please go ahead. If it's some
Okay, the
nonsense,
splitting of the moon, okay? Splitting of the moon, okay? I shouldn't even bring this up. Like,
okay,
look
go
at your
ahead.
face, bro.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
How about you tell me why you don't believe it first, okay?
You're supposed to give me evidence for Islam is true. I'm sorry. You come in with such a
Okay, I got you.
attitude and with insults, and then you blame me for giving you such a reaction. I don't understand.
Bro, I called you that name once, bro. Are you like offended?
Well, what do you think? What do you think an insult is?
Are you soft? Are you soft, bro?
What do you think an insult is made for?
Are you soft, Ridvan?
What do you think the purpose of an insult is?
Ridvan, am I hurting your feelings, man?
What do you think the purpose of an insult is?
I don't know. You tell me how.
Can you explain
how are you affected? How are you affected by me calling you Apos? Okay, tell me how did you feel?
I didn't feel anything. I just felt like this is a ridiculous attempt by you to be dehumanizing and insulting because you have nothing better to say for yourself. I mean, just
I mean,
look at
that's ironic.
just look at the reaction. Just look at the reaction
that's really ironic considering.
Can you mute this guy, please, for a second?
That's really ironic considering.
So just look at, you are muted, nobody can hear you. Just look at the reaction. Just look at how people perceive it when you Muslims come in with such an attitude where the first thing you do is to insult your opponent. Just think about what that causes. Do you think I do more damage to the image of Muslims and your Islamic religion? Or do you think you do more damage when you see an international, interreligious community where people are trying to communicate, and it is then completely usual for Muslims to come in and immediately begin to insult and try to belittle the other side? Do you think I do more harm for your image, or you do more harm? Please think about that for a second, and then try to communicate again. Maybe try to be better. I don't want to listen to you any further. We can.
I'll be.
All right. So
that's it. Sorry. If you want to be treated nicely, if you want to say something, if you want to be listened to, act like a human being, not like a lowly savage. I'm sorry.
All right, couple super chats real quick as we're moving on. Margaret, thank you so much for the super chat. No questions. I'm appreciating this opportunity to listen and learn. Thank you, Apostate Prophet and Derek. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm really sorry that I might come off a little bit, I don't know, offensive today or impatient. I just, for the last 2 days, I dealt with these attitudes and with people saying horrible shit. And I'm expected to just take it and to be just to just act completely nice to people. I'm sorry, I can't. I will not. Right now, I'm really not in the mood for that. Okay, yeah, so if you want to come here and be an asshole, then I will be an asshole to you. I'm sorry. That's how it works today.
I get it, and we're really wanting to hear what people have to say. And if you disagree, expect us not to just take your word and accept what you're saying and believe it. We'll try and explain what we think, but be reasonable. Aaron Johnson, I would love to see an interview with a scholar in the Arabic language about the Arabic of the Quran and its grammatical structures or structure errors. I have had a few academics that know the Arabic and going into the tribe. Is it the Quraysh tribe? The particular tribe of Muhammad.
Quraysh tribe.
Quraysh. Yeah, they talk about the Quran's particular Arabic coming from the tribe. But as far as errors or structure errors and stuff, I will reach out and see what I could do. I'll talk to a few people and see what they have to say about that. But the Quran has been standardized since Uthman, so there's another, or at least we would think it's from that point. So anyway, Tyler Preston 220 says the Quran is really hard to understand because the text is very vague. What do you recommend for non-Muslims to use?
For non-Muslims to use as in translation, I guess. Is that what this question is about? Yeah, I mean the Quran is in general very hard to read. It doesn't have a proper structure. It doesn't flow. It's inconsistent within itself. It jumps back and forth between narratives and topics. So therefore, it's kind of hard to follow. But if you want a a readable translation, I would suggest a Sahih International translation, which might be deceptive here and there, but is usually accurate and easy to read, or MAS Abdul Halim. It doesn't necessarily stay very true to the actual text, but it's much easier to read than the average text.
Thank you so much. Why so religious? Isn't a prophecy just a 50-50 guess? Did Einstein make prophecy about gravitational waves? It took 100 years to prove. Keep to the same standard.
Yeah.
Agree. David the Goliath. Did Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali make a mistake by converting to Islam and advocating for it? I think they made a big mistake. What does AP think? MythVision, please bring African-American ex-Muslims to the show.
Yeah, I mean, people have talked about this before. Many people, African Americans, did this step of converting to a version of Islam or a sect of Islam or to Islam due to a false propaganda that went around half a century ago, that Islam is their original religion, which actually respects Black people and is actually Black religion and things like that, while Christianity is the religion of the white man or stuff like that. So this whole political propaganda drove many people to make that step. The Nation of Islam, which is the background of both of these people, especially pushed such propaganda. Obviously, that's not true. And looking at the Islamic history, Muslim civilization has a long history of abusing and enslaving Black people and treating them as inferior. You even see that in books like Ibn Khaldun's Muqaddimah, which is considered like one of the forerunners of sociology. He, in the book, refers to sub-Saharan Africans, Black Africans, as savages who don't have any better purpose than being slaves. That's literally what the book says. It's
wow. That's not good. Wow. Thank you for that super chat. Neo26 AP, can you please make a video about RTS? And that's our last super chat.
RTS?
Neo, what do you mean by RTS?
What do you mean by RTS? What is RTS?
I will keep an eye out on that, and I'll get to...
Is that real-time strategy? What is RTS?
I don't know.
If it's an abbreviation for something that I always talk about, something Islamic, I'm really sorry. I'm not getting it right now. My brain is a little bit fried today.
Zagros back. Derek, will you ever work on an episode dedicated solely to mythical beasts and other creatures from the Abrahamic religions? Would be dope. I plan on it. I'm sure we'll cover it. Definitely taking a deep dive into some of the mythical creatures, because a lot of people want to demyth, like say, oh, what happened with Leviathan is actually a crocodile or alligator or whatever. They're always trying to say something like that. But yeah, I'd love to do that. And thank you for that super chat, my friend. All right, we're bringing on the next caller. Please be respectful, I ask. That's all I'm asking. And welcome to the chat, Drake. Welcome to MythVision.
Hi, hello. Thank you for having me on. Can you hear me well?
Yes. We hear you.
Okay, thank you. So, Ridvan, I watched your debate early on today. And I was hoping like I could debunk something you said, because I seen you mention it a few times before, and it's the false prophecy. So am I able to deal with that?
Which one?
It's the one about the last hour.
The child. The child.
Yeah, the child. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, so first of all, in the you shared like a link, not a link, sorry, like basically chains to show that it's our established. However, if we actually go and look, can I share my screen, or if you want, I could just tell you the video mark.
You could just tell us. You could just tell us what it is that you want to say.
So okay, so basically on your video was not on your video, the debate, sorry, on around the 32 minute mark, you shared like chains, and you said like the first 4 was are the stronger ones, basically, yeah. Do you remember that?
I'm not sure if I said that they are specifically the stronger ones. I just said that we have 4 narrations against one specific narrative. That's what I meant.
No, I mean, I think your video says it. It doesn't matter anyways, whatever. So if we look at the first one, So if you look at your first one, first of all, that says the hour is coming to you. So I don't know why you said it means
It doesn't
hour
actually. It doesn't
established.
actually say that in the Arabic, though.
Well, I mean, I have like I actually have like my uncle is a scholar, and I asked him, and he said no, it's for you. So I think I just trust my uncle and the Sunnah translation. But anyways, it doesn't matter.
I know, but
First of all,
but the text doesn't actually say it's coming to you. That's what I was explaining there. It doesn't say that. The text merely says the hour will not be established. It says literally the hour will not be established until this boy grows very old, or before this boy, something along those lines. It never says will come to you.
like the translation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, the translation does say it. So
no,
if
I'm
you
saying
just don't
the
mind me
actual
explaining.
I'm saying the actual Arabic text never says that the hour will come to you. It merely says the hour will not be established before this boy grows very old, or something like that.
No. Well, I mean, the translation says the hour is coming to you, and again, it seems clear to me. But even
I know,
if
but
even
that's
if
a
we go with your
mistranslation.
thing,
That's a mistranslation.
but then how come for something like so for example, you quoted in your thing you said Sahih Muslim 2953C, right? In Sunnah they translated it as hour established, and it's clearly there in the Arabic as well. So, but it's okay. Anyways, that's beside the point.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's the hour established.
Is this
Yeah,
is
but
this
that's
going
only
to
one.
Drake? Is this
Two
going to
hadiths.
prove? Will this prove Islam true, or is there any evidence you're bringing to the table? That's the topic, is to try and convince, or at least show reasons why you're convinced that Islam is true.
Okay. So I just want 1 minute to debunk this claim, and then after that I'll give my proof. Ridwan, if you go to Hadith in Bukhari, Hadith 6429.
Sorry, which one?
It's a Sahih Bukhari 6429.
6429. Give me a second.
And then I'll give like
Bukhari,
some proofs, I guess.
6429. Okay.
So should I read it or?
It says, the Prophet said, the best people are those of my generation, and then those who will come after them, and then those who will come after them. And then after them there will come people whose witness will precede their oaths, and whose oaths will precede their witnesses.
Right. So here, right, the Prophet is talking about, peace be upon him, the Prophet here is talking about 4 generations that will come. And probably by the 3rd generation, that boy is probably going to be old, right? So how can you say that the Prophet thought the world was going to end at that time when this hadith clearly makes it clear that the Prophet knew there's other generations?
The hadith actually says before he grows old, before he grows very old, meaning that he becomes what do you call it? Is senior in today's terms. That's what it actually says. When Muhammad says the best is my generation, then the generation after them, then the generation after them is actually the actual wording, and then after them will come people who will do this and this. So we have a mention of 3 generations, including his own generation. 2 generations after his, which leads him to 40 years, right, or something like that, or less.
No,
actually.
hold on, let's take it back.
I don't think there's a contradiction here.
No, just hold on. So how long would you say 1 generation is? Like 1 generation, how many years?
It depends. Generation is defined differently in different cultures. I don't know.
I agree. So
for example, 15 to 20 years right now, we say is 1 generation, right? Am I right, Derek? I think
in the modern context,
if you look at the Cambridge,
in the Bible, I know in the New
30,
Testament,
like
it's used for 40 years in the New Testament. But see, this is just, that would still put a max of 80 years if you were talking about 2 generations after. So
I think in Muhammad's terms, it could refer to actually, to be very honest, it could refer to the first generation. Now, Muslims define the first generation as people who were with him and who saw him. Then the second generation as those who did not see him but saw those who were with him. And the 3rd generation as those who saw that generation. So there is quite a huge span. You could say yes. You could say that describes something like over 100 years. And I could say, that's true. The issue is, I simply do not understand what the point here is. The point here would be that this would be a contradiction of Muhammad's other statement, which says that the hour will not be established before this boy grows very old. Now, you have to explain to me that there is a contradiction here, where I would say, I never said Muhammad is consistent, or I'm not sure if Muhammad actually said these exact words. But I will be happy to compare them to each other after looking at the chain of narrations in this example as well. That, however, does not take away from the fact that we have a multitude of hadiths which talk about the imminent coming of the day of judgment, including the ones about the boy, which says that the day will be established before the boy grows very old.
Okay, so first of all,
Make a statement on that. I'd love to hear some evidence.
Evidence on what? What do you mean? What
Oh no,
evidence?
the
I
point of
didn't
the show
understand.
is the point of this whole episode was to come and bring some evidence that convinces you that Islam is true.
Okay, so I'll bring. I just wanted to show Ridvan this hadith. It's not a contradiction, since all scholars in history of Islam says that this refers to the people at the time, and we have this hadith to confirm that Muhammad, peace be upon him, didn't think the world was going to end at his generation. But anyways, we'll move on from that.
There are scholars who
I
don't
think that's true. We even have within the sources themselves, we have the notes that we misunderstood this. Or there is for example, there is also a note where in one hadith Muhammad says, and this is repeated, this is a mutawatir hadith, he says, a confirmed hadith. He says that within 100 years, no human will be left alive on the face of the earth. And then the scholars actually add to that later on. They say, we thought he meant the day of judgment, but what he actually meant was that those who are alive today will die within 100 years, which is a very strange thing to say. But the issue is, of course, Muslim scholars add such notes, and of course, Muslim scholars interpret them this way, because Muslim scholars started making commentaries on this long after the time frame that Muhammad was pointing at. So they were living long after a time frame in which the world should have ended according to Muhammad. So of course they will reinterpret this. How could they not?
Again, I'm gonna say I don't know. You didn't give a reference for that, but it's okay. Just whatever. I'm just telling you that we have an hadith here. It's clear that there is going to be another generation. It's clear. Whether you want to think it's a contradiction or whatever, that's fine. I'm not going to go into that. But
no, I'm telling you, it is your claim that contradicts with my idea that Muhammad said that the day of judgment will come before this boy grows very old. I would say,
but of course, it contradicts, right?
I would say you would have to, it might be a contradiction. It could be a contradiction, but you would still have to explain to me why Muhammad says in multiple hadiths, in multiple instances, like in this one, that the hour will come, or that within, when talking about the day of judgment, he says within 100 years, no soul will be left on the face of the earth. The same hadith is found in that same debate. I mentioned it right there. In another example, we have him saying, I and the day of judgment are like this. Or he says that Gog and Magog are about to attack Arabia. There is this big of a hole in their wall right now. That's an actual hadith. I showed that as well. Or he said, he thought that the Dajjal was right now among them. So Muhammad was actually thinking, look here, if you want to bring contradictions, come to this one. Muhammad actually thought that a boy in his presence might be the Dajjal. He was almost sure about this, and his friend, his follower Omar, said, I was confident that this is the Dajjal, and Muhammad did not object. That's what he says. And the Dajjal is supposed to be a guy who comes, at the end of time. Finally, I want to add one other note. What I just noticed, the hour refers to, when Muhammad talks about the hour, he talks about the time of the hour, the end times, where all the tribulations happen. So when he talks about how the times will come before this boy grows very old, he might as well be talking about the time in which the tribulations will happen will come before this boy grows very old, and we have that theme very prominently in the hadiths. So I don't see how this is a problem.
No, it is, because it literally says the final hour, which is clearly described that, I think basically, like, the we're getting resurrected and so like that. That's the final hour. But anyways,
Okay. Can
even for your last wait, hold on. Even for your last hadith, for example, I forgot the other one you mentioned, but the Dijon, that one, right? Even that Muhammad, the reason why he didn't object to it is because he didn't see him yet. There's a hadith where he talks about seeing him, and he saw Jesus, peace be upon him, and he saw the Dajjal, right? But when he narrated that hadith, the one you're talking about, he didn't see him yet. So he didn't know who was who until after, the few years later, when Allah showed him. Anyways, I just wanted to show you that.
But you know that Muhammad, but you know that Muhammad suspected Ibn Sayyad, the little boy, of being the Dajjal, right?
He didn't suspect. He just didn't say anything. He just wasn't sure. He didn't know.
He suspected him of being the Dajjal.
No. He didn't say anything. It
Are
was
you
his
telling me
who was suspected.
Are you telling me Muhammad did not suspect that kid of being the Dajjal?
I mean, even if he did suspect, it really doesn't matter, because he didn't know at the time. It was later on Allah showed him, and then at that point he's like, okay.
And then he
describes him. Hold on.
Of being the Dajjal, though.
Okay. He even describes him after, a few years later, about he's the different colors on his eyes. He described him, and we know that boy wasn't, he didn't have different colors on his eyes. So
I think it's actually in the hadith. I mean, I can read it for you if you want to. It's pretty long.
Go ahead, read it. I mean, if
Umar ibn Khattab went along with Allah's messenger. I mean, I can share the screen here and just read this if Derek is okay with it.
Sure, go ahead.
We don't want to go too long into one specific matter, but
right.
Yeah, I can give my proofs for Islam now. I just wanted to show you this hadith. That's all.
Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. You came to me at the very beginning claiming that this hadith, which I gave about the young boy growing old, is actually false. But you didn't demonstrate that it's actually false.
No. What I was attacking at the start was you said something like, "Oh, the first three clearly says the hour is established on the translation," right?
Yeah.
That's what you. Yeah, and I was, because even if you're okay, so if you go into that video, there's only two there that says that, and they have a narrator. His name is.
I didn't say it says established in the translation. I said it says it in the Arabic text. That's what it originally says. The translation is mistranslated. Muhammad says the hour will not be established. He literally says in the text, I'm sorry, he literally says the hour will not be established until this boy grows this boy grows very old. Yeah. That's what the text literally says.
I must.
You need to come here and tell me how that is a misinterpretation of the hadith. If Muslim scholars said what he actually meant is their death, then that is simply what Muslim scholars say without any foundation, without any basis.
I cut out. Can you repeat what you were saying? Like I literally didn't hear you. Sorry.
The hadith literally says in the Arabic text, Muhammad literally said the hour will not be established before this boy grows very old, and so on. So he literally said that the hour will be established. There is nothing that indicates anything else. If scholars say what he actually meant was their hour or their death,
that's not what he meant. It's the translation.
Then this is simply what they say. The text says that the hour will be established.
Man, listen. All the translations, even if you look at Aisha, because there's two narrators for this, there might be more, I don't know, but even your thing, you showed two, right? In Aisha's hadith, it's clearly mentioned the hour will come to you, and even
it doesn't say to
Malik, okay, where do you get that's established? Can you show me?
Show me where it says to you. Show me the Arabic where it says
the translation. The translation.
No, I'm not saying the translation. I have been telling you several times. Okay, I'm talking about the Arabic text, not about the translation. Why do you keep going on about the translation?
Tell me which Arabic word there is
Show me
established.
where it is not, because the text clearly says that. If you want to come here and say that is wrong, then show me which word here stands
it
for
doesn't
will
work
come
like
to you.
it doesn't work like that, because
Why
all
are
like how
you not confident in your
listen to
claim?
me. Listen to me. When you in Sonnet.com, obviously whoever wrote it is an Arabic speaker, right? If it was what you said, it's so clear, they would have translated it as our established, just like they did in Muslim 2953C. They say our established because it's clearly there in the Arabic. But when it's in other hadiths, for example, the ones narrated by Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, it's perfectly fine. It's the hour will come to you.
That's
They're not gonna
That's a very cool story. But did you actually analyze the Arabic text and come to the conclusion
I
that
literally
it says
asked my
that it
uncle,
says
who
come
is
to
an
you?
Arabic scholar.
So you asked your uncle
Okay, you know what?
what
Let
the text says,
Okay, listen.
but you
Let
didn't
me
bother to
copy
analyze
this.
what the Arabic actually is.
I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna put it into Google Translation. If it's so clearly, it should tell me. Simple. Arabic to English.
All right. After that, we got someone waiting.
Please come. If this is what you want to run with, and this is what you come, then
Show me
the
an
actual
Islam.
proof.
Listen. You admit it to yourself. You don't know Arabic.
This is not how it works. You come to me and with a claim. You are supposed to present evidence for your claim. Don't expect me to
I
claim
did
something.
offer evidence. I showed you.
Don't say my uncle claims. Show me in Arabic where it says will come to you.
The translation, man. Sonnet.com. It's literally
Jeez.
translating it as that.
Show me the Arabic text and show me where in the Arabic text it says will come to you.
Okay. Listen to me. It's very simple, right? All translations says this. Now you're listen before
Goodbye.
you say it.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you. I said it multiple times, didn't I? Show me where in the Arabic it says will come to you. I said it so many times. I am sorry. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. You can't come here and say you are wrong. Prove to me that you're not wrong. No, come to me and say you are wrong, and I can prove it right here.
So there's a couple things I'd like to make a note of, and then get these super chats. This is interesting. I'm trying not to jump in with my knowledge of the Bible, but it makes a lot of sense. Translators bring in bias. Okay, every time there's a translator in the New Testament, whatnot, they're translating certain text. Oftentimes, not literally what is being said. It's almost like a commentary mixed in with the translation. But if this is a troubling passage, and there's a tradition to get over this problem of failed apocalyptic expectation or whatever, they'll find a way to kind of get over that. Does that make sense? Jesus claimed the end would be near. I can't tell you how many, translations and commentators, if you will, try to make this not look like it is. Mm-hmm. And so I suspect that would be one of the reasons you're bringing that up. But yeah, I'd be very cautious on trusting that, especially if a failure did take place. And there are academics, they may not be in the Middle East, and they may be Western scholars, but they're looking at this and they're saying, yes, there seems to be early apocalyptic voices of expectation coming from the mouth of the prophet himself, and yet there are some voices that may not be saying that. So they're open-minded to multiple views. But yeah, anyway, a couple of super chats. Did you want to make a comment, or you want me to go ahead and read these?
No, I just want to tell people. I mean, it was. I think it was very clear, right, that we expect people to come and bring evidence that Islam is true. Why do people keep asking me about? You are wrong here. Prove to me that you're not wrong. Please come here and tell me why Islam is true.
Neophyte 1, how did you view Jesus as a Muslim? It seems like the Quran took elements from mutually exclusive Christian and Gnostic sects to create a unique Isa.
How did I view Jesus when I was a Muslim? Well, as a Muslim, I simply learned that Jesus was a prophet of Allah, that he was a mere human being. He received revelations and received a book and so on. I was given a very, uninformed Islamic understanding of who Jesus actually really was. And I was basically told that, Christians corrupted the message of Jesus and so on. So that's how I saw it. But later I found out that the Jesus which Islam presents, that the Quran presents, doesn't really make sense. It's self-contradictory. Why does Jesus not have a father? The whole idea of Jesus having no father is that he was born of a virgin because he is of divine origin. That was the understanding of that. That's why the narrative exists. Or he gives life to inanimate beings. He resurrects people. These are things that are unique to Jesus alone. And
Which
yeah,
your interview with Bart Ehrman really
that was
spelled that out. That was really good.
that was amazing.
Good questions. I never thought about those too. That was really good questions.
And he answered them so well. I loved that.
He did. It was he's shocked by every interview, by the way. He talks to me after and he goes, that was one of the more fun interviews I've ever had. The interesting questions that you come up with. Bart Ehrman, I'm not making this up, man. You can send me the check later, okay? But no, seriously, he like legit is impressed with some of the questions and how they relate to Christianity studies and whatnot. So keep up the good work, brother. Doc Pluromana, thank you for the support. Sahih Muslim, he would not grow very old till the last hour would come. To the old people of this generation, putting in brackets.
Yeah, see, that's the interpretation here added. But the text literally just says that the hour would be established, which is also spoken as come. It never says will come to you. That is merely an addition or an interpretation of the actual text, and that's pretty clear.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, you know, when Jesus says this generation will not pass away till all these things take place, Matthew 24, you know how many Christians will say, oh, that's talking about this generation. Look, Putin and Ukraine and this and that. And it's like, no, he's speaking to the people. He's like literally talking to his disciples, like 3 verses earlier. He's talking to them and he's saying this generation. So I wonder if this is one of those kind of, well, you know, this could be talking about much later interpretations by those who are faithful versus those who are being like critical and sticking with what the text says.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, these reports were compiled long after this generation was gone. That guy cannot possibly have survived until that stage. So when these people compiled these reports, they did, of course, reinterpret them in such a way that they make sense again. So, which is why they, you know, wrote them down as such, or added certain interpretations to them. That's what people did.
Wow, that's exactly what they did in the New Testament. So it's very interesting. D. Bordeaux or Bordray, I always butcher your last name. Thank you for the support. Sometimes I think, why even bother with this nonsense? But then Nigerian ex-Muslim Mubarak Bala just received a 24-year prison sentence for a blasphemous Facebook post. What? That's crazy. You'd be like dead years ago, man. I would probably too. But
that happened in Nigeria. This guy, he was in jail for a long time for blasphemy allegations in an Islamic state within Nigeria, and I don't know what happened. He pleaded guilty despite his lawyer saying don't do it. He was like, I'm just going to do it, I don't care. So he pleaded guilty and then sentenced to 24 years in prison for blasphemy.
Wow. Thank you so much for the support, D, and I think it is an important issue. Happy Camper, thank you for the support. Love content covering Islam. Thank you, Derek. Thank you. We have callers here. I just wanted to touch those. I did want to ask, do you know anything about Sheriff Gaber? Like, he got in prison, didn't he? Or house arrest or something?
He got in trouble. He's always in trouble. I don't know what his current situation is, but yeah.
Okay, we're going to get our next caller up here, and that is Sheik. And then after you will be one more. So welcome to MythVision, Sheik.
Hello, how are you guys today?
Hey, welcome on to MythVision.
It's a pleasure to have me.
What kind of proof are you bringing, my friend?
Hello.
Okay, so in the Quran, it says iron are sent down from the skies. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so it says, and we sent down iron, wherein is a great military might and benefits for the people.
Mm-hmm.
So it is known that iron actually didn't. What is it? It is iron didn't actually come from the earth, but actually came from space, right? From meteor. So can you disprove that?
Yeah, of course, I can definitely. Iron didn't exclusively come afterward with objects from outer space. If you want to say that something came from outer space, then literally everything came from outer space, because the Earth itself, according to the formation of the Earth, came from outer space, literally. The Quran also does not describe that that iron was sent down or sent from outer space onto the Earth. It doesn't describe anything like that. It merely says we sent down iron. Sent down there in this case is not a reference to sending from space or sending
So
from
where
the
is it
sky.
from?
Sending from the sky, it merely means that Allah gave it to you. In the Quran, it also says that Allah sent down cattle. Does cattle come on meteors?
Bro, no, but you're denying the proof of Islam, bro. You're ignorant.
Are you serious? Are you being serious right now?
Yes.
You're not trolling, right?
No.
Okay, the Quran says Allah sent down cattle to you, right? Does it say that?
I'm not sure with that one. I didn't study that much, but
Okay, I would like to give you the Quran verse here, the Quran narrative here. In chapter 39, verse 6, it says, I'm sorry. It says, and Allah sent down to you livestock and 8 maids. It also describes cattle as being sent down.
okay.
That's the exact wording. The same thing used for iron. It also says
Okay.
sent down books, sent down prophets, and so on. Does this mean that those things also come on meteors from outer space?
Not those, but iron. But then where did iron come from? Tell me.
As I explained it earlier, it came with during the formation of the Earth. It is there since the formation of the Earth, and also comes onto the Earth through rocks and objects after the formation of the Earth. That's what I told you.
But
Why are you
iron
laughing?
doesn't come from the earth. It's known that iron didn't come from the earth. You're
Okay.
denying it.
Okay, did you not understand what I just told you? Iron was found during the formation of the Earth, and also comes to the Earth with rocks. So that is true. What exactly is the miracle here?
And we sent down iron wherein his great military might and benefits for the people. Bro.
Okay, and why is it a miracle?
Because iron didn't come from the earth. It's
Okay.
pretty obvious, bro.
Where did cattle come from? Where do cows come from?
It came from the earth, not from the space, obviously.
But then why does the Quran say we sent down cattle?
Because cattle was given to us, but iron, in case, was sent down from the space.
Okay.
You're ignorant.
I think.
Are you
Okay,
serious? You're
I'm not
joking.
Are you trolling right now?
You
Okay,
gotta
listen.
be joking, Sheik.
I have a very hard time to take this seriously. Please tell
Okay,
me.
listen.
Trolling.
The preservation of the Quran, okay?
You're joking around, dude. Don't be
Okay,
playing around.
Yo,
Please
incest is
stop.
okay, right?
Thank you.
Incest
Thank
is
you.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Incest is okay.
Kick him out.
Okay.
Jeez.
Is he serious?
I think he was actually serious. Listening to what he just said at the very end, I think he was actually serious, and I'm just.
Really? What in the
I'm really trying to keep in what I have been trying to keep in over the last 2 days, and people are making it extremely hard for me not to keep that in there.
What the heck, man?
You
I
have
thought he
to
was
be.
joking
You have
around.
to be borderline. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to let it out.
Now, this is an interesting trend I'm noticing here. All of these that are being claimed as miracles, like there's much simpler, easier explanations for every single thing I've heard. It's just not. I thought he was joking. I'll be honest with you. I thought you were laughing because I'm like, he's joking. Someone's joking around.
It was
here.
so ridiculous. I thought, okay, this must be a troll, but he was actually serious.
What?
I mean, oh my god! I see that people actually. This is actually something that people bring as evidence, as miracle from the Quran. Zakir Naik, the great Islamic scholar, put this in a book called Scientific Miracles of the Quran. You can read this supposed miracle claim right there. But the objection to it is very simple. That is not the only nature of iron, number one. And number two, the Quran refers to many things as sent down, which is simply metaphorical for Allah gave them to you, including cattle. Will you now say that Allah also sends down cows from outer space on meteor? I mean,
Well, no, that's where I was thinking it was a joke, because it's like
Jeez.
obvious the same ideas conveyed, but no, that's
I'm
Okay,
going to lose it. I'm sorry. I had very little sleep, and I've had so much abuse from these people now, and I'm thinking, why am I keeping all of this in, man?
well, you
Let's
should
keep
go on a
going.
retreat.
Let's
Go
keep
do a
going.
full body deep tissue massage with the wife, and just take your mind off of it.
Yeah.
So we have a couple more in the chat, but I'd like to not keep you too long, because it seems that you're a bit stressed today, and I'd love to have these again with you, but I don't want you feeling angry or bitter or anything like that. I want to have these as fun conversations. So would you like to take one more?
Oh yeah, no, let's keep going. It's fine.
Okay, I just want you to
No,
be comfortable.
I'm fine. I'm trying to. I want to have these conversations. So let's just keep going.
Okay, I'm checking on you, man.
Just keep in mind, I'm also a human, and I guess
No, I get it.
I don't have much patience right now.
I get it, man. I just want to look out for you. That's all.
Thank you.
And also for we don't. My goal in these are not to no, but really why we don't and why you do believe in Islam and have the conversation. We should be able to have those conversations. So, all right, couple super chats though. I got to jump on them real quick, and then I'm going to get to friendly Muslim, and then I'll get to our next person after that, and that's Neophyte One. When Cortez asked the Aztec chieftains where they got their knives, they pointed to the sky. Prior to metallurgy, humans had to use meteoric iron. Interesting. It is interesting too. If you go back into the ancient mythologies of like the Mesopotamian myths, there were 7 Apkallu figures. There were sages. And the story goes, before the gods flooded the earth to destroy mankind, where the story that the Bible gets the flood from, that there were sages that came down to inform mankind on how to agriculture, wage war, and create weapons. Women with, wearing makeup, the whole nine, like all of this stuff was discovered by these divine sages. I wonder if that plays any role in the mythology. I don't know.
Maybe.
Might be something worth looking into.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the Quran talks about different things that exist in the world that you live in, and different functions that certain resources have. And I mean, all it does here in this case, please, man, seriously, people. I mean, there are some scholars and some apologists who actually had some honesty. Like, I have to give that guy credit. Hamza Tzortzis is a known Muslim apologist in the UK. He actually he did such claims in the past and said there are scientific miracles in the Quran and so on. After a while, after years, he said, guys, fellow Muslims, brothers, that narrative doesn't work. We have to stop appealing to scientific miracles. It doesn't work. We shouldn't rely on that. He actually went out there and did that. If you don't want to listen to me, Muslims, listen to people like Hamza Tzortzis. Stop with those narratives. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, interesting. Holy Humanist, thank you so much for the super chat. Go subscribe to her. She's doing awesome stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Always. Have you been watching?
Yeah, no, she does very good work. She does great work. I always tell people. So go ahead and subscribe to her channel. She's very good.
Awesome. She says two of my favorites on screen together. It would be a lot less sad if some of these callers were actually trolling, but alas, the indoctrination.
I agree. What can I say?
Wow. Couple more, and then we get our caller. If a man has a daughter out of wedlock, he's not her mahram.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Maliki school, he can wed her and be physically intimate. Objective morality?
Yeah. The different Islamic schools of law have different interpretations on that. I think this one is an accurate account of that. I have nothing to add to that.
Interesting. Apollo's Christian Apologetics, thank you for the super chat. He was Yusuf Estes, serious.
You mean the caller? Yeah, I don't.
maybe they're guessing on who they think it is. I don't know who that
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. That's Yusufet is an old Muslim apologist. I don't think he would call any.
DR J311 or 122. Iron is formed in stars from fusion and released during supernova. Iron was part of Earth since its formation.
Yeah.
Laugh out loud.
That's what I'm saying. You cannot say it comes. It wasn't part of Earth. It comes from outer space. Everything by definition comes from outer space. The Earth formation by definition comes from outer space, and
Right.
during the formation of the Earth includes iron. This is common knowledge nowadays in terms of the study of such resources. You can find that very easily. I also made a video in which I presented that, by the way.
Thank you. Kasim Tufal, thank you for the super sticker and the support. I hope I didn't butcher your name too much. Awesome. All right. Friendly Muslim, welcome to MythVision.
Derek, how are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you live in person. It's been a while since we've spoken. My voice is going.
Yeah, you were saying something about tea in the background.
Yeah, I'm trying. I've got lockheads, and I'm trying to lubricate the voice so it doesn't go. So I'll make it.
You need a miracle. I'm just teasing you, man. I'm just teasing.
And it's Ramadan as well, so I was on here. So anyway, brother Derek, I want to just give you a big hug. I know it's been a tough couple of weeks and stuff. So much love to you, my brother. And Ridwan, hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. And I know you've had a couple of rough days also. And
thank you. I appreciate that.
And I know that I was in line for your call-in also when you took that call. So I saw that the devastation in that and the humanity in that moment also, and how you dealt with it. And congratulations. Well, not just what I'm trying to compliment you on how you dealt with it, because that was a very difficult moment. And I'm glad she's got some comfort in dealing with seeing your content or whatever it meant to her in that moment. So and I saw your reaction afterwards. So
I appreciate that. I appreciate the sentiment, and I'm glad, and I'm happy that you also put your humanity first and your human side first when dealing with such matters. For those who don't know, we're talking about. I had a call-in show yesterday, and somebody called in from Pakistan with a very terrible life experience. Her sister was killed by her brother, and she broke down and started crying as she was talking about it, and
wow.
It was a terrible thing. But thank you, friendly Muslim. Thanks for that.
So, which leads me to my next point. As we are sort of arguing and debating what is true, and what is true to each other, is religion not supposed to just bring us together and stop these insults and all these? I don't know. While I was listening and I've just seen it, we surely should be treating each other in a better way, even when we're discussing religion. And I'm trying to find out, how do we go about that? What is the universal message that we can give to each other where we communicate on better terms? And what would you want, Ridwan?
Yeah, this is kind of not part of the topic of the actual show, but I can go into it very briefly.
And by the way, we have a lot of callers too.
Yeah, I'm going to be
just
2 minutes, and then I'll.
No, I appreciate the question. I mean, I think that the traditional way that Islam is understood and some other religious teachings are understood are a major part of the problem. Sorry to say, it's not a coincidence that people treat people like me or others in such terrible, dehumanizing ways. It's a result of that we have these very bad confrontations and fights and all that. I would love to go toward a better future. I would love to tell you that I think Muslims can become better and Islam can become better through different ways of understanding their religion and all that. But I have to be very loyal to my thoughts and very candid about this. I think Islam at the core is the problem, and turning away from that will lead people to turn away from hating the other side and hating people like me and advocating for our killings and all that. I think religion has great potential to bring people together, but in this case, religion in this specific case, religion does the opposite of that.
Okay, so your main issue has always been the apostasy laws, essentially.
Well, that's necessarily a part of it. I mean, people tell me, because their religion tells me that I deserve to be executed for leaving this religion and speaking about it. How could I not make that an issue?
No, that's fine. But in terms of the actual Quran itself, it doesn't really call for your killing. It's obviously some of the hadiths, and it's been turned into a treachery against the state and treason into the state. In terms of personal belief, the Quran really says that to you, your religion, to us, ours, and I have made you of different tribes so that you may know each other. So I take those verses as always being a case that there will be differences between us and looking for common ground. So for me, that's the truth of what Islam should be. So that I'll leave you with that. If that means anything, my voice is going, and I didn't want to get into an argument during Ramadan either. So
I understand.
so I'll just leave it at that before my voice totally goes, and say peace and blessings to Derek as well, brother.
Thank you, friendly Muslim, and call back one day again when your voice is better.
No, I will do after Ramadan, and I'm ready to battle it out on the field and argue about God. But just wanted to say, so thank you for taking the
thank
call
you.
and,
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
no
Thank you.
Take care.
And
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's good positivity right there. So
Yeah,
it's always good to have that happen. All right, couple more.
Of course, I can say about the Quran that the Quran itself is not peaceful. I mean, it includes some of the major problems, but I don't want to get into the polemics with him. He was very nice. I wanted to go. It would be unfair of me to comment further on that.
You can find what you're looking for too. If you're looking in, you can kind of find what you're gravitating toward. Jakey Pake, real quick, thank you for the support. Between apologist Ali Dawa, Daniel Hikikachu. I just repeat his last name. Is that proper? Am I actually saying it right?
Yeah.
Hikikachu? Okay.
No, that's perfect.
And Assalam alaikum. Is it what? I can't. I don't even know.
It's Asim al-Hakim. That's an Islamic scholar or apologist.
Which one would you rather get an ice cream cone with if you had to pick one?
None of them. But if I absolutely had to pick one, despite the fact that Daniel Hikikachu and Asim al-Hakim are extremely hateful, while Al-Dawa is just a complete clown, I think I would pick one of the latter two. And if I'm between those two, between the scholar Asim al-Hakim or Daniel Hikikachu, I have to think a little bit about this. Is a very serious issue here, but I think I would pick Daniel Hikikachu.
Okay.
Which might be surprising to many people, but yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that support. All right, we're bringing in Nathan, and then next will be the next person will be on I Can Disprove You. Nathan, welcome to MythVision.
I want to talk about the proofs for Islam.
Hello.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. So I wonder if you ever heard the prophecy of the bracelet of Kythera.
Tell me more about it.
So you've never? Okay, that's fine. So basically, when the Prophet left Mecca, right? So when the Prophet left Mecca, he was getting chased by a future companion. But at the time, he was one of like the assassins, you can say. And then basically when he went to go kill him, because, big price on his head, right? He found him and Abu Bakr. And Abu Bakr confirms this in the Hadith, but it's widely narrated. Anyways, so basically when he goes and kills him, his kind of camel goes down. Anyways, it's not the miracle, but basically it goes down and he was kind of shocked. He realized this guy wasn't human. And the Prophet basically told him, I'm just kind of summing it down, that he will wear the bracelets of Kythera. Now, do you know why the bracelet of Kythera was special, by any chance?
No, tell me.
Okay, it was what was worn by the Persian king.
Okay.
So it was a unique bracelet that was uniquely worn by the Persian king at the time.
I understand that part, but I don't. I don't understand the relevance of it to the story and the miracle. If you want to go ahead.
Okay, so basically, don't worry, I'll explain to you. It's not a problem. So when the Prophet made this, Persia was probably the strongest empire because this time they defeated the Romans, right? Like the Romans were getting pretty much destroyed. So when the prophet said this, basically what he's telling him is he's going to wear the bracelet of the king, that basically the Muslims will occupy Persia, basically. And he confirms this in another hadith where he says, oh, thank God, God gave me like Persia or something like that. I don't remember the actual the hadith, but anyways, remember he only had like 20 people, right? 20 people alive. And 8 years later, because remember this was a non-Muslim he told it to, and he was still fighting the Muslims. So the moment he died, it's a false prophecy. But anyways, when the non-Muslim came to kill him, when the Muslims came to kill him, because the companion basically wrote it on a thing to confirm that the prophet said that he will wear the bracelet of Kythera, and it's his protection, basically. So when he showed that to the Muslims brought him over to Muhammad, peace be upon him, and he pretty much said, yeah, and you can search this up, it'll explain it better. But pretty much, this was around Battle of Badr, bit over it. So he still only had like 1,000 men, definitely not enough to take over Persia. But he went, yes, he's safe. You're going to wear the bracelet of Persia. And basically, he converted to Islam, and about 12 years later, 13 years later, the Muslims occupied Persia, and he wore the bracelet of Kythera, and he used to walk around shouting, Muhammad was most truthful for 20 years, something like that. Like, the thing he made 20 years ago. So what do you think about that prophecy?
Can you give me a certain source, an authentic Islamic source in which this is narrated?
This is widely narrated. Just let me go on Google 1 second. I'm trying to say it off memory, so just give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Is it an alarm thing? Is it a smoke alarm, smoke detector or something somewhere?
You hear something?
There's a smoke
I don't
detector
hear anything.
chirping.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah, I don't hear anything either.
Maybe it's in my head. Maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe I'm receiving revelations. I don't know.
I doubt it. Muhammad's the last prophet. Oh my God! Just give me 1 second.
Can't argue with that. So here's the issue. I don't think this is actually. I don't think this is actually found in any of the Sahih books, right? The Sahihain.
Oh, here it is. Okay, Bukhari number 250.
250. You mean book 250 or Bukhari number 250? This is the problem with these things being very poorly sourced. Give me the number of the hadith directly, not the volume book or anything.
Okay, while he's searching that real quick, Redacted has a super chat here. Thank you for the support. AP, did you ever listen to scholars like Hamza Yusuf? Any opinion on him? He's such an intellectual. It's so funny to watch him and then watch Ali Dawa.
That is true. I have to agree. There is a huge contrast between people like Hamza Yusuf and the regular Dawa guys from the UK and others. I actually have some respect for Hamza Yusuf. He is a very calm, good man who doesn't seem to bear any hostilities. Is very peaceful. That said, he is also of a different Muslim creed, still within Sunni Islam, but doesn't follow the traditionalist path. I respect him. I would love to have a conversation with him sometime. That said, he, of course, still believes in things that are simply unacceptable to my own well-being.
Thank you. Did you get it, Nathan?
La 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 la. I don't think that's actually any of these sources, honestly. I think this is a story that is told,
No, I know it's wide. I know it's widely narrated. I'm just kind of.
and that its narration is hard, meaning that there is no number
That's
of
authentic. I
narrators
checked.
that makes it authentic.
Just don't. I should have came here prepared.
Well, you knew AP was going to ask. Come on now.
No.
You
Yeah,
always
I
have
You
take.
know,
I take.
he's not just
Can I
going to
come back?
listen.
Can I come back later because I wrote like
Yeah.
a nice article. I can't find it for now.
Yeah,
Thank
come
you.
back with your
I'll be
source.
back.
I would have one question to ask you though before you go. Just a thought.
Yeah, go on.
Let's say you found a source in some hadith, okay, for this particular narration.
Yeah,
How would you, like, if I were to ask you and press you on it and say, okay, how do we know this wasn't written after? Let's say that he actually did conquer Persia and they got the bracelet and whatnot. How do we know this story wasn't told to embellish his fame for conquering the Persian people as if this is a prophecy? Why are we trusting that this is actually true as if this was prophesied? Why? And how did they know he had a bracelet? If they're down in Saudi Arabia and he's in Persia, how do they know this guy has a bracelet and he prophesied about it well before? There's so many more questions that I would start with as a skeptic. And people go, oh, you just want to debunk. No, but like I have a different methodology.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. I can answer it.
Yeah,
So for your last thing. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I just wanted to add something, but go ahead. It's fine.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't.
No, go ahead. You can feel free to.
Okay, so you said how did they know they were wearing the bracelets? I'll start off with that. First of all, they gave it to him. He was living in Medina, and they gave it to him. I think it was Umar. They gave it to him, and he wore it. And basically, he would go around the street saying the prophet was truthful, and yeah. So that's how you said. Which you said, how do we know it wasn't written later? Which because there's two separate parts. One is that he was shouting, "Oh, you are truthful." Or are you talking about Muhammad making the prophecy? Which one are you referring to?
When the conquering and taking of this bracelet supposedly happen? Is the question I have.
So
did this happen during Muhammad's lifetime?
So him wearing the bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
No, Muhammad died.
Okay,
this was after his death. But
And
the person he, sorry.
No, please. I'm interrupting you, and I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the person who he promised, so the enemy at the time that Muhammad said you're going to wear the bracelet of Kythera, he is the first. That person was still alive, but Muhammad already passed away, basically.
Let's pretend that this was all written after all of that already happened. Let's say this hadith was written 100 years later or something like that. This story is narrated later. Like, would it need to be a miracle is my question. I mean, we don't even need you to get the source technically right now. You could if you wanted to, but the
thing is the reason why I'm asking for the source is that I'm trying to make a point here. I'm pretty sure I don't find this myself, but I'm pretty sure that that there is no actual, even by Islamic standards, there is no actual verified, authentic, undoubted narration which includes that promise that he will wear that bracelet. I don't find a single source to it. I don't think that is actually backed up. But I would add to that, even if that was true, I don't think that would be a miracle. That would be just like, hey, you will be there when this and this will be conquered. If it then happens in the future, that's not necessarily a miracle.
Yeah, a lot of people make those claims.
It's just keeping the hopes up and them actually happening.
So I can deal with that. First of all, this is definitely authentic, and I'll get you the source to that. I promise. That's totally my fault. But just to go on to that, what were you saying, MythVision again? Damn, I forgot what you said. It was something about let's just assume it was written later. Something.
Yeah. I mean, I like what AP said was really good. In history, I'm sure plenty of kingdoms or people that were empires growing made claims, and then it didn't happen. They won. So then they're like, well, the prophecy was on our side. The gods were on our side, or whatever it might be. But the other point I was making. Yeah, but the other point I was going to get at wasn't even that, even though I would start with that kind of idea that AP is pointing out. Like, how does this prove a miracle? If someone claims something's going to happen or we're going to win and then they win, does that prove their God or whatever it might be is actually true? No, but let's say this is true, that it claims that, hey, this is what happened. They conquered and got the bracelet. Imagine that this hadith was written later, 100 years later. how can we trust that this actually is like, how can we be so confident that we're going to make our whole worldview based on these claims and say, this is true. I believe it all because they said they were going to get a bracelet. They did. How do you know that that was really what happened? And even if it did, as AP said, what makes that a miracle? We use that same methodology on other people who've claimed things were going to happen and it happened. It's just one of those things that kind of falls apart to me.
Yeah, I can explain it. You ask the questions and I'll answer it. So I'll start off with.
Sorry for being long-winded there, but
yeah, it's fine. It's just so the first one, it's how would you, like, let's just assume it's true. How would it be a miracle? So the thing about this is, when Muhammad, peace be upon him, made this prophecy, he said it to a non-Muslim who was coming to kill him, right? So that's one. And he said he will wear the bracelet of kiss. So at this time, Muhammad, peace be upon him, probably had 20 men. I don't know if you know about how Muslims were, basically starved and, all this, right? So he only had about 10, 20 followers. And he's basically saying to a non-Muslim that he will occupy Persia, which is at this time is probably the biggest superpower at this time, right? Because they defeated the Romans at this time, if I remember correctly. They took over Egypt and everything else. So it's fair to say they were confident, right? So that's number one. And also, if you just think about the criteria for this to actually be like I said, first the Muslims will have to conquer Persia, right? Superpower. And also the companion was fighting the Muslims for 8 years, so he could have died in any one of the wars. The companion also fought with the Muslims, and he could have died anytime. There's also that even if they occupy Persia, they would have to find the actual king himself, and they also would have to find his jewelry, which is not, and inside that jewelry, they'd have to even find the bracelet that could have easily been lost or given away or anything. Also, the companion had to be alive, because if he died, because this was mildly transmitted, if he died, it's a false prophecy. Everyone would know. Just
Okay.
1 minute. I just want to give the criteria. And even if he was alive, you'd have to find him anyways. So, and that's not an easy thing to do, because at this time when Muhammad died, a lot of the companions traveled elsewhere, traveled to either India or Egypt, so it's not easy to find these companions. So even that. So those are like the criteria, I'd say. And I think if you really look at it, it's pretty hard for a person who is a liar. Just 1 minute. If a person who is a liar is going to make a huge claim like this, even later on in his life, he could have just told the Muslims, no, he's lying, kill him. But no, he affirmed. He even said, yes, I told him he's going to wear the bracelets of Kythera. And if he's delusional, you have to ask, how does a person who's delusional make that type of prophecy?
I mean,
so you can respond to that, or I'll make another response. You can choose.
Here is the thing. I think we can move on after this one. But here is the thing. When I ask about the source of this hadith, I'm asking because first off, many of the prophecies are made after a certain event happens, or are recorded after a certain event happens. We have the compilations, the reports of these hadiths after events actually took place. So there is no reason why a person who objectively looks at this would trust that this was actually said, before, like 200 years ago in Muhammad's time. There is no reason why a person, an outsider, would trust that. If you look at the fact that these things are recorded long after the fact, then we would say, well, this is what people said after it happened, and that's all we know. The rest is up to your trust, whether you trust these people or not. Secondly, when I ask about the source, I'm asking because if we had an instance where we know for sure that multiple people, I don't know, like 5 people in every generation said the same thing, that this did indeed take place, that Muhammad did indeed make such a prophecy, then I would say, okay, we have a solid case here, let's look at this. But even then, even in that case, if we said that it is highly unlikely that Muhammad did not say this to that guy, in that case, I would still say this is not a miracle. It's not a miracle. First off, we don't know how events actually worked out in the end. There is no way for us to verify that historically it actually went this way, that this person was there. Secondly, even if everything went that way, this merely means that Muhammad promised somebody that he will be among the Muslims and he will go and conquer that place, and it then happened to be so. We have many cases in history where people make huge, predictions and they come true, which doesn't mean they are prophets or they are divinely inspired. So I think we have made the case here. You have made the case. I've tried to search for you as well on our great friendly source sunnah.com for Bracelet and Kythera and Khusro, and I cannot find such a hadith. It seems that this is just a legend or a hadith that is reported in different sources afterward. But I think we are pretty much done with that. I
Nathan,
appreciate.
Whoa,
thanks for calling in, man.
Wait, can I not respond to his point?
I think we went a lot back and forth. We need to move on to other callers.
no.
You
I mean-
can come back if we have the source and if you want to add to that.
So
Yeah, get the
what?
source. Get the source.
The source, and then we can talk.
All right, I'll get the source and then you let me back in. Right? But can I just respond one thing? Just
We need to
quickly.
move on. We will go forever. After you respond,
You
I
take
will.
1 minute and then
I will-
it just.
We're long over.
We
I
do
will
have
watch
other people
it.
waiting.
We have a lot
All
of
right, I
people
understand.
waiting.
Thank you for your time.
Right.
But
Yeah,
you
get
will let
that
me
source
back
for
in
me.
to send the source. Got it.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna pop on our next caller here in just a second. Shaheen, thank you for the super chat. 99 names of Allah are a copy of 100 names of Ahura Mazda, God and Zoroastrianism, and after the conquest of Persia, Muslim Arabs copied or adopted our architecture, art, literature, and culture.
I'm not sure if that's actually a solid claim because we don't actually have much in terms of written sources from Zoroastrianism that we can verify, but that's all I know about it. I can't verify that. If people want to make this claim, people are always free to go ahead and provide evidence. But
I do think it's interesting.
I want to be fair here.
Yeah, in ancient Mesopotamian literature, I think there's a play on the name or the god Marduk as well, with like 50 names of the god Marduk. So like, it seems like a well-known ancient idea to give so many names to your god. But it is interesting. I wouldn't be shocked, to be honest. Ahura Mazda, I wouldn't be shocked. Zoroastrianism, Persia, it's all right there. So
no, I do have to say, Muslims did, of course, take over and adopt and copy certain things from Zoroastrian culture after they took over Persia, which always happens among cultures. And one thing is that the Kaaba is a cubic structure, which we have still remaining similar structures in Iran that Zoroastrians built before. So it might be that the Kaaba, for example, is something that was not only done by the pre-Islamic Arabs, but by cultures around the world in the region. That's all I want to say about that.
thank you. Jakey Pake, why does Ali Dawa have his name painted on the side of his car? Answer, so he can legally park in handicaps. Oh my.
Stop it.
No. You made me read that, Jake. Apollos, Christian Apologetics. It sounds like a legendary coin flip to me. Thank you so much for the support, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay, I Can Disprove You's coming on, and welcome to MythVision.
Hello, I Can Disprove You.
Hello, how are you guys today?
Good, how are you?
Good. All right. Let me rebuttal my points.
Okay.
Thanks for that super chat, Jason, or say super sticker, Jason Anderson. Thank you for the support, my friend.
Yes.
All right. So you're going to disprove Apostate Prophet, or you're going to bring
Yes. Hold on. I'll bring proof.
Impossible. I can't disprove Apostate Prophet.
Why not?
Debunk him.
It's
Hold on.
impossible. It's by
Let me
definition
focus.
impossible. It's illogical.
All right, hold on.
La la la.
All right.
La la la. Okay, are we ready?
All right.
Yeah.
The Holy Quran, God speaks about the stages of man's embryonic development. All right. So,
Okay.
Quran 23:12-14, we created man from an extract of clay, then we made him as a drop in a place of settlement, firmly mixed. Then we made the drop into an alaq, leech suspended thing in a cloth. Then we made the alaq into a madgo, a chewing substance. And this has been proved by scientists as well, the different stages of the embryo.
Mhm.
So,
Which scientists?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's many recognized international scientists have known this to be a fact. So, what is your stance on this?
Here, the thing is, if I want to make a claim that there is this certain miracle in the Quran and that there is even proof from scientists, from academics on this, then I would bring forth the evidence for those scientists and academics who have actually presented proof. And by scientists, I'm not talking about Muslim scholars who have written on this matter. I'm talking about actual scientists who deal with embryology and who have said, you know what, the Quran's description of things is completely accurate. I don't know of such a case. I know, though, that something like a clot of blood is not part of the embryonic stage at any point.
Hold on. So, are you saying the Quran is false in this manner, or?
I'm not an embryologist. I don't want to make a big claim about the precise description of it. I know that describing an embryo in any state as a clot of blood is factually wrong.
It's not factually wrong.
If you want
Because
to say that it's a clot of blood or a clot of flesh, it never is in such a stage, and it's also not made of clay. It also doesn't come into existence from a sperm. So,
okay, so actually Keith Moore, an eminent scholar, he studied embryology and he concluded that Muslims had this knowledge since the 7th century, which was just revealed. So,
okay, can you give me the source for that? To see, are we talking about the same scholar who was actually hired by the Saudi Arabian king in order to advertise for Islam and contribute to Islamic studies on science?
I don't know what that means.
That's Keith Moore. We're talking
I
about
need
that
to collect
one
more
guy.
academics, AP. I should have an embryologist on call.
Get an embryologist.
I wish I did. I don't have one.
Get an embryologist and verify this.
So,
we're talking about Keith Moore. He that is the guy, right? He's the guy who wait, let me check before I make a false claim here.
Someone
Keith
said he was
Moore.
paid by Saudi financiers.
Nobody could have known this 7th century, though. So how can you deny that?
Well, I don't think there's much to know there. Keith L. Moore, we're talking about him, hired by Saudi Arabia, by the royal family, in order to do work specifically to contribute to the Saudi Arabian and Islamic confirmation on the Quranic narrative on science.
What's wrong with that?
Yes,
He's an embryologist.
He was in the 1980. He was invited to Saudi Arabia. He was also recently later on asked about this stuff, and he said he doesn't want to comment on these things anymore because he has long moved on from talking about the Quran. That was only part of his agreement with the Saudi Arabian royal family. He doesn't actually make any. I don't think that there is an accurate confirmation that a certain thing and a certain example of a certain verse is a completely accurate description of the embryonic stage. I don't know of any other scientists who can tell us that the Quran is really accurate in these terms.
I mean,
and secondly, sorry, just to add this, the sources, Quran 23, verse 12, 13, and 14. And certainly we created man from an extract of clay. That's a whole thing in and of itself. Then we placed him as a sperm drop in a firm lodging. That's already false. The human is not a sperm drop. And further, 14, then we made the sperm drop into a clinging clot. False, never happens. The sperm merely What is that response now to this matter? This is an accurate. I'm making some accurate remarks about this.
Where's your proof for this?
The sperm fertilizes, the woman, the cell. The two together then start the process of, the sperm fertilizes the eggs within a woman. The two come together and form a human. The human is never the sperm drop. That is a misunderstanding of how these things work, a misunderstanding that people would hold in 7th century Arabia.
I mean, many scientists have concluded that this to be true. I can give you many other proofs,
Prove
but
it. Prove it.
Email me. How about that? Email me, and I'll do another follow-up show. All right, I'll talk to some embryologists, scientists myself, and then we can get these sources and see where that goes. Because we're not going to get anywhere with there's scientists that think this and not really having.
okay, I'll say one more thing about
the
this.
Quran
Then.
says that the human is a sperm drop. False. It says that the sperm drop forms into a clinging clot. False. Never happens. That the clot becomes a lump of flesh. Never happens. And we made from the lump bones and covered the bones with flesh. Doesn't really happen in that sequence. If you want to be very precise about the language here, that's also wrong. It's actually the other way around. But so bones develop after the flesh and so on. But this is not proof.
I mean, this is 1400 years ago in the desert, so isn't that kind of shocking to you, though?
No, what's
Because
shocking about
everything is
something that's false?
It's not false because embryologists know more than me and you, right? They've concluded that this is true, right?
Okay,
So
and
what's false about it?
which embryologists make some remarks about this and say this is an accurate description of facts? I clearly told you right now what the biggest mistake of the very beginning, a sperm drop. We placed him as a sperm drop into a firm lodging. That's factually false.
Do you have any proof about that?
Do I have proof that a sperm drop is not a human? Do I have
Yeah.
proof that you are not a sperm drop at any point?
You can't just say it's false without giving evidence.
No, this is actually very basic knowledge in our time. You learn this in basic biology that the human forms from the combination of the semen fertilizing the egg in the mother. Thereby, I mean, humans come into existence with chromosomes. The chromosomes determine the sex of a human. How does this happen? Because they have the X chromosome in the mother, and from the semen comes another chromosome that is then added, and then the human comes into existence after 9 months of forming within the womb. You are not at any point the sperm drop. That's not a thing. The sperm drop is merely something that fertilizes the egg, which then together forms and turns into the human.
All right.
I'm sorry, but this is basic knowledge.
But many scientists have done studies. They study embryology.
I'm gonna put
you
my email.
You have already said that. I think we are through with that.
I have another miracle. This one, I don't think you can come. You cannot refute. I mean, you can refute any miracles of the Quran, but you're gonna be stumbled with this one too.
Okay.
Okay. The Romans have been defeated in the lowest land, but after their defeat, they will soon be victorious within 3 to 9 years. The decision of the matter before and after is with God. Quran 30:2-4.
Surah Rum.
So yeah, this is about the verses above are about revealed 620 CE, almost 7 years after defeat, right? And it's related that the Byzantines or whatever will be victorious shortly after. So can you?
I've heard this many times. I heard this as a Muslim numerous times. I've heard this after I left Islam numerous times. The Quran says Alif Lam Mim, as far as I remember, right? Does it start in a different way? I just want to be very truthful. Alif Lam Mim, yes. Then it says the Romans have been defeated in the nearest land, but after their defeat, they will overcome and they will be victorious within 3 to 9 years. The actual wording is within a few years. To Allah belongs the command before and after. So the Quran says, according to these verses, that the Romans were defeated in a battle against the Persians. It doesn't specify that, but that's what it's referring to, and says in a few years they will overcome and they will win. This is a response to people celebrating the victory of the Persians and the Quran, led by the Muslims and Muhammad, and saying, "Well, you don't worry, the other side will actually win soon, in a few years." Is that really a miracle? Do you know when this Quran verse precisely came into existence? Number one. Do you know what battle this is referring to? Number two. Do you know how many battles were fought in those years between the Persians and the Byzantines, the Eastern Romans? Are you aware that the fights between the Romans and or the Eastern Romans and the Persians are a series of long, extremely long, endless wars which continued before, during, and after this? How is this a miracle? This is basically like me saying, "Hey, our team has been defeated today, but in a few years they will win," and then it happens, and I'm like, "See, miracle." That's not a miracle.
Yeah, how's that not a miracle? It confirms the prophecy. It confirms. Also, this was revealed in 1620 CE, almost 7 years after.
You can't actually verify the exact year of these verses. If I'm sure those you are following a prediction of when these were revealed that is based on a system that was only established in the 20th century. But
okay, so when do you think they were revealed?
I don't know. That's what I'm telling you. We don't know.
Yes, we do. We have proof.
How can you
620
verify?
CE.
How can you verify that this is a miracle when we can't even?
You can
exactly
search it up
know
yourself. There's proofs. I already know this is true because it says in the Quran.
Yep.
This is 1400 years ago.
I said this is only a small point. This is not even the major part of the refutation of it. When you say our side has been defeated, but soon they will defeat the others, that's not a miracle. I'm sorry. I made a greater prophecy. Let me tell you. A few weeks ago, when the whole Russia invasion started, I said to everyone, guys, the oppressors will not win. Russia will not win. Ukraine will overcome this. Freedom will win. That's what I said. People know this. I say I'm a prophet. And how could I do this? We're talking about Russia, a huge power against Ukraine. How could I have made such a prediction? But as it turns out, Russia is badly losing, being humiliated right now in that war. I accurately predicted this issue. That means I am a prophet. This is a miracle. And this is a much better standard than what you have just presented.
Okay, I need to refute one of your other claims you said. You said there's a series of battles, right? And you said they were very small and that these battles kept happening. Well,
did I say it was very small? When did I say that?
You said that, you said there's many battles, so it's impossible to tell if it's true. I forgot what you exactly said, but this is my standpoint. So, in fact, the Byzantium had been so heavily defeated that it's basically impossible for the empire to even maintain its existence, let alone be victorious again after that.
Are you aware of what we're talking about here? We're talking about the Byzantine-Sassanid War that lasted over 25 years. And this was not the only war that was fought between these two parties. We had, I'm not sure how long they were, but this is a series of many wars, of long-ass wars between the Byzantines and the Persian side.
Okay.
They were raging on and on and on forever. That is what it is.
Also, in the third verse, it was mentioned that the Romans were defeated in the lowest land, 33.
That actually refers to somewhere near.
Actually, it refers to the main battles were taking place in Damascus and Jerusalem, and they also lie in the vast area lone lie. So it's telling the exact point where it's taking place. The lowest land is Damascus and Jerusalem, which is the lowest part of Rift Valley.
And how is that relevant to the issue? That's a place where the fighting takes place, a common place, by the way. And I'm just referring to your source, which goes through the dating of these verses, where Noldike says that that the dating to 614 is merely an estimation, a guess, because a battle took place at that time, but we cannot actually verify when this chapter and these verses were revealed. Tabari says the battle took place in 614. This is not a non-Muslim, not an Orientalist. Tabari says it took place in 614, and thereby implies that this chapter must have been come at the same time as well. But there is no source which tells us when exactly this chapter came into existence.
I mean, it was almost 7 years after the defeat of the Christian Byzantines, right? So, I mean, this this is a miracle. I don't know what to say. I just can't. I don't know what to say, man.
How am I supposed to argue with this?
I mean, I'm not a scholar or anything. I don't know.
Clearly, it's not a miracle. This is just
How
the
is it
same
not a
thing.
miracle?
This is just the same thing that we did earlier. We just went through the whole thing. It's not. There's nothing miraculous about this. It is a random remark made in a book. We don't even know if this remark existed in the actual revelations of Muhammad. There is no way for you to verify this at all. We don't know. Therefore, we don't know there. No, there is not. I'm sorry. Even scholars would tell you that there is no way to verify whether this Quran verse existed in Muhammad's time or in Muhammad's mouth or not. That is an absurd claim. You can never prove that. Therefore, you can never know when exactly this came into existence, what battle this was referring to. Assigning this to a specific battle is something that only happened afterwards, long after the Quran, by Tabari and by other interpreters. So you don't actually know what this was in reference to. You say. You say it was specifying a specific time. It merely says in a few years, and all it does is say the Romans have been defeated and soon they will overcome their enemy, which is something that everyone always says about conflicts that take place around them. There is nothing miraculous about this. We are done with it.
Okay, I want to get our next caller.
I have one more thing to say. In I just need 1 minute. Okay, sorry guys.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
All right.
30 seconds.
It says the Romans have been defeated in the lowest land. Isn't that miraculous? Because Jerusalem is part of the lower land. So it's not stating anything false at all. It's actually a miracle.
It's not miracle.
If I make a true statement now, and it happens.
How many years from now?
If I say in 20 years
it actually says, wait a minute, let me make a correction here, since it actually says fi adna al-ardi, which means the nearest land. That's literally what it says. That's literally what it's in reference to.
Okay, Derek, to your question, we might to say if your source is reliable. For example, if you say a statement that's true, a big statement, and after 1400 years ago, we have to look at this chain of narration, okay? So if the chain of narration is strong...
I have a hard time, this is the thing, even with the chain of narration, I have a very difficult time trusting that narration. There's plenty of reasons to doubt a lot of this stuff when we get into it. Even Muslims that I've had conversations with will tell me, like...
Why would we doubt it? Why would we doubt the chain of narration when it's authentic from reliable people?
Okay, I think you should move on to.
Yeah, it's one of those word of mouth. There's a lot of reasons not to trust people. You wouldn't do it with Christianity, but you would definitely do it in your particular religion.
Okay, Derek, I have to tell you this one thing.
There's literally absolutely nothing miraculous about
an Apostate Prophet.
Nothing at all, except if you want to believe that it is miraculous. I'm sorry.
Okay, listen. So the generations, we look at the family of each member, right? We look at how reliable they were, how truthful they were, and then we can come to a conclusion that this generation is in fact true, and after 1400 years ago, this information is true. So
there's no reason for us to verify that. There is no way for us to verify that. This is
how
you're only listening to the text that you're listening to these texts and these narrations that you're saying we could trust this and this is factual. And a lot of these narrations that we're talking about that you're saying there's a chain of command, a lot of this literature is written later, a couple hundred years after Muhammad even was around. So, for example, the biography of Muhammad, like these things, trusting what they say. Yeah, there's a tradition. There's a chain of tradition, just like in the early church. There's a chain of tradition that says, oh, so-and-so, we came from the Apostle Paul, and he taught so-and-so, who taught so-and-so, who taught me. That's how we know we're right. But scholars who are critical, who look at this, go, I'm highly, there's a reason of authority. And there's a reason behind them wanting to have this chain of command that is fabricated to have authority. Anyway,
hold on, one more thing. I know you caught that.
That was 30 seconds. I'm
I think
sorry.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna have to get one more person on. I gotta let one more on if you're down, and then we'll wrap things up.
Sure, yeah. I'm very tired, but I can handle one more person.
Okay, so here's my question. We have, you get to choose, all right, between, and these are the two names that we have. I'm gonna identify them. Saints 78, okay, and they just have an O, or H, and they have a cardinal bird.
That doesn't tell me anything at all. I wish I knew more about
You
these
have
people.
to know better than you're a prophet. You should know this.
I have no idea. Just take somebody, whatever you want.
Let's see what the audience chooses. How about that? Saint 78 or H? Who are we picking in the chat? Everybody in the chat right now. Who are we going to bring on? H? They have a red cardinal bird as their profile picture. Or Saint 78, and they have a 0 with the orange.
That sounds very shady.
So it's H.
Both.
Oh, man. H seems to be... Oh, we got Saints. We got... Look, everybody's voting. Man, we got more H's going on. H because he shares... All right. Oh, Harrison Sultan's in the chat. I share initials with him.
Oh, Harrison.
All right. H, you're up. Here we go. Welcome to MythVision, H.
Hello, H. Hello,
Hi,
H.
can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. Hello?
Man, look, the audience obviously does not have clairvoyance, or they did not know what was going to happen.
No proper feeling for this. Can't trust the audience.
Man, if I ask the audience, all right,
Okay.
if Saints is going to be a good guest or a bad guest, and he turns out to be a good guest,
Are
does
there
that
more
mean
or
the
is it
prophecy is
two?
fulfilled? Does that prove
Yeah,
that
it
it's...
is. It is.
Okay.
Do we only have one more guest there waiting, or do we have more?
We have someone named Muslim Salaf and then Saints.
Just take Saints next time.
Okay. He has two different ones here, and then we'll get the super chat and we'll wrap things up. Saints, welcome to MythVision. Let me try the other Saints because there's two. You know how that goes. Saints, welcome to MythVision.
Hey, can you hear me?
There he is. Yes, we can. Do you have proof for Islam?
Can we establish a very quick rule before we go into this? How about let's set a timer, and the guest can, within 1 minute, present his case for why Islam is true, and then we'll just talk about it.
Awesome. All right. So, Saints, you have 60 seconds, my friend, to tell us why Islam is true.
Yeah, I just want to keep this kind of brief, so don't worry about like a big debate. So, have you heard of the Medina being protected from the Black Plague prophecy?
Go ahead. You have 1 minute.
Yeah, you can look it up on Sunnah.com. There's like a bunch of narrations there. It states that Medina specifically, instead of being affected by the Black Plague, like I think in several or 2 times in history, or maybe 3 times, the Black Plague ravaged Arabia as well as surrounding areas. So cities like Mecca, for example, was devastated. Surrounding villages and towns were devastated, but Medina stayed untouched. So that's, I think, one thing to investigate. I would recommend you read Lawrence Conrad. He's a Western historian. He affirms this, so that's something to just look into. So have you... Okay, if you haven't heard this, yeah, I just recommend that. The next one would be the Meadows and Rivers prophecy. Have you heard of this one?
No, but that was already 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So what I would say is, I don't really think this is good evidence or proof or whatever you want to call it for the truth of Islam. You could say that Muhammad said that the plague will not enter Mecca or Medina. I think the prophecy is just specific about Medina. He said it will not enter Medina. I looked into this a while ago, and not in very much detail. It's very hard to find information on where the plague actually went in Arabia and surrounding regions. But I think we are fairly sure that that people were sick with it in Medina as well. Otherwise, there was even some reasoning to it. It would be a phenomenon, it would be known, and people would simply go to Medina to avoid the plague altogether. It didn't happen. The plague ravaged, killed a bunch of people, took lots of lives, and Medina was not spared. We don't have any records of Medina being spared. If you want to, today, argue that the plague can never enter Medina, then I have a very simple suggestion for this. Do not blame me for what I'm about to say. If you're really,
by the way, I had to mute Saints just because I hear a lot of wind.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, if you are really saying that Islam is true and that the proof for this is that Muhammad said the plague cannot enter Medina and the plague has never entered Medina, then prove it today, if we are so confident about it, by transferring people who are sick with the bubonic plague to Medina, or don't try to do this. This will be a stupid thing.
I
but,
get your logic, though. Yeah.
If you attempted to spread the plague literally through human hands and manipulation in Medina, by this logic, it would not work. If you want to prove this, would you really do that? I doubt it.
Okay, Saints, I had to mute you while the wind was blowing. Did you want to make a quick response as we wrap up?
Would I do that? I mean, go ahead and try. I mean, it has happened twice in history. It's been affirmed by a Western historian. It's been affirmed in the 1300s in the Black Plague there, and in the 1800s, I think. Western travelers went there and they noticed Medina being completely untouched by the plague.
Has Medina been affected by COVID-19 in any way?
Yeah, it's been affected by other things like fever, yellow fever. That's been like a disaster there in the past. COVID, of course. But the prophecy specifically just for the Black Plague.
Okay. All right.
I remember reading about this a few months back, and I didn't consider it serious enough to make an actual response to this. But what we do have is we don't have anything that we know for a fact that it never went into Medina. All we have is that we don't have any records which of the plague existing in Medina. And we're talking about the plague. The wording there is simply plague, but what this is in reference to, I guess, is the bubonic plague or the Black Death. That's all we have. We don't have records of it existing there. But that's all there is.
Well, there are witnesses. There are Western witnesses that went there in the 18 or 1900s, I forget. Just look into Lawrence Conrad's text. He explains it in a lot of detail.
If you think this is some great evidence for the truthfulness of Islam, I don't think so, but I will look into it, and I could even make a response to it, maybe. But as said, my suggestion is simply don't rely on eyewitnesses, don't rely on reports from people. If Medina is truly protected from the plague, try it out today and see if it works. This sounds very horrible. I'm sorry. I'm not suggesting.
Yeah, but how do you test? How do you test the claim other than to have? I get what you're trying to say, even though it's not a good idea to do it.
It sounds like a horrible thing to say, and I'm not suggesting that.
But Saints, thank you so much, man, for coming on. Was that the main one?
That was one, but there's also the meadows and rivers prophecy. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
I think we don't have time.
Yeah. Well, look,
can I just briefly
I want to
mention
do these again. Look, we're going to do these again. Please call back. Please call back when I do this again, because we're already 2 hours and 16 minutes in, and I just need to wrap things up here. So,
okay, no problem. Next time. Then.
Thank you for being patient too. So, okay, bye. Yeah. Wow.
I just felt like, man, I just said something horribly wrong. That's how I felt.
I know, but I get what your point was, even though no one would wish that,
Yeah, no. But I'm seriously, I mean, some people are still infected with this disease in today's time. It's not entirely eradicated. It still emerges here and there in some cultures. So if you want to prove that it cannot enter Medina, I don't know, would it be? This could be a great proof for Islam, right? If you could take somebody and fly them to Medina and see what happens.
It would immediately eradicates the plague.
Maybe they will be cured immediately as soon as they enter Medina. I don't know, or maybe they cannot enter Medina. Maybe there will be an invisible barrier between them and Medina. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't make the
Sid
rules.
Dave, you're tripped, dude. Sid Dave, thank you for the super chat. Quran was written after Persian Byzantine wars were over, so they already knew the result. And even if Mo did say that, it is just a random guess.
That's true. The Quran was compiled after the death of Muhammad. The war that was raging in his time ended in it's somewhere before 630, 625, 6. I don't know. Somebody tell me that date. But the Quran was compiled long after the fact, and we have no way to verify that those words were actually spoken by Muhammad. It's impossible.
Thank you, Blake. Thank you for the super chat. Apostate Prophet, didn't a miracle happen many years ago where a Muslim man was flying on a Turkish talk show?
Somebody mentioned that the other day. It's no, there was such an incident of a Turkish talk show where some guy said, "I can fly. It happened to me before. I fly, and then I stand in the sky, and all that." And then they were like, "How does this happen?" And then he suddenly goes, "Allah!" And then he starts jumping and rolling around, and people are like, "What the hell is going on?" And they kick him out. This is something that actually happened on live in Turkish television. Yeah, it's funny.
Wow. Well, thank you, Blake, for the super chat and for a laugh. Sid Dave, biggest miracle of the Quran is that 1.5 billion people believe in it. Quran also allows time travel as it sends its followers directly to the 7th century.
Nothing to add.
Sid is like, I should have my, like, thank you, Sid, for the super chat and the support. Neophyte 1, no claim of a perfectly preserved text as proof. Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't come up tonight. The idea that, we have the exact, the Quran has been preserved, which is typically a well-established thing that it is pretty well preserved early on. However, still can't be proven that it comes from the mouth of Muhammad. And I mean, I've gone to bat and said, I think many of the words probably did come from Muhammad. I
talked to Shadi Nasser, who is a Harvard scholar, an expert on these matters. I asked him directly about the preservation of the Quran, and what he says is that people were, faithful. You talked with him too, right? Mm-hmm. He says that that people had a way of faithfully preserving the scripture, but there is no way for us to verify that the Quran that we have today is actually the same Quran that was brought into existence from the very beginning, and which Muhammad actually verbally transmitted to his followers. There's simply no way. So the assertion that it was perfectly preserved is an unverifiable claim, and even if it had been perfectly preserved, that doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you, and I think that it should get people who are so confident in knowing, just lower the confidence and say, I believe. I have faith. I believe it does. And because it goes close to that time, a couple decades, let's say, if you want to grant Uthman as that. So yeah, there's a lot there to swallow, but you're right. It makes a lot of sense. Shaheen, am I saying your name correctly? I feel like
I believe you are.
That plague ravaged Sassanid Persia too during the reign of Shinisha Kavad.
Shahinshah. That means King of Kings or something.
Okay. Kavad II in 630 CE. Many Persians died, including the Shahinshah himself. This and the brutal civil war, which severely weakened him. Thank you for the support.
Yeah. Shahinshah is an old Persian title for the great ruler, the king of kings. I think that's what it literally means. Shah is the ruler. That's where the name chess comes from, by the way. And and I don't know why I'm completely going into a different detail that has nothing to do with the actual point. It's just something interesting. I think this person is Persian, might be Parsi from India. But yes, plague took place and all that.
Well, the next super chat's interesting. David the Goliath says, so basically, miracle is that all diseases like AIDS, syphilis, herpes, gonorrhea, COVID can enter Mecca, but not plague? Really?
Yeah. Muhammad thought that the plague is something that Allah sends down to punish and test civilizations. He did not believe that that it's an infectious disease. So his idea was Allah punishes or tests people, which is why he gives them plagues, and this will not happen to Medina because it is a protected city. It's
yeah, that's kind of what my point was. Like, is COVID? Well, COVID's there, but it just made me wonder, like, what's the purpose of saying that this plague isn't, but anything else is game? You know, kind of odd how that works. Like, I'm going to heal this one amputee, but the 30,000 who have limbs missing, forget about them. You know, there's
who cares?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So we did have Nathan who wanted to get the source. Nathan, did you get that source? I just want to correct a few things. It would 1 minute. Everybody wants 1 minute. That's always a lie. I'm going to just be honest. Everybody who's in the look, I love you all. Okay. I really do. But when you say just 1 minute, let me get 1 minute. That is never true. It is always more. And you got to be honest, right? Because, oh, let me just give you 30 seconds. I'm going to be, I'd lie if I told you that.
Can I make a request? There's one person, Muslim Salaf, asking for 1 minute. Can we just take that one and then we can?
Which one?
Unless you want to go.
No. Which one?
Muslim Salaf is asking for.
So you are lucky today, my friend. I'll give you 1 minute. I'm gonna get my timer before I bring him up. Okay, just so that because it is late here, man. I'm on the East Coast, and anyway.
What we should do is give 1 minute so he can present his points. No further discussing back and forth. We can just respond and then we can say good night.
Excellent. So we'll do 1 minute. I'm not even going to argue. I'm just taking you off after 1 minute. Make your points, my friend, starting now.
Hello.
1 minute.
All right. I just wanted to say that the other guy that spoke about the Romans, right? It said the Romans have been defeated in the lowest land, and so how could have anyone have known 1400 years ago that's the lowest land without any knowledge, any geographic facts that it was the lower land, matter of fact? Because in the lowest lands, it's Damascus and Jerusalem, as he mentioned, and the Great Rift Valley is a huge 5,000 fault line in the Earth's crust that runs from northern Syria in the Middle East of Asia to Mozambique in the East Africa. So how would they have known it was the Romans have been defeating the lower part of the land? Can you explain that to me? Yeah, open up Google.
That you did it, dude. You did it. Thank you.
I done?
I'm gonna bring you off and go ahead and respond, AP.
Fantastic. So first off, as clarified earlier, it is not called the lowest land. It is known as the nearest land. This is also the word. The wording here is used for the heaven as well. For example, where it says the nearest heaven, or the heaven of the earth. In this case, this refers to proximity. It's a close place, a nearby place. That's literally what the Quran says. Every translation that you can bring up here will also tell you in English that in chapter 30, verse 3, it says, in the nearest land, in the nearer land, in a land close by, in a near land, in the near land, in the nearer land, in the nearer part of the land. That's what the text literally says. Please, I mean, I had a lot of hope, but this is really what you want to come with. That's a terrible point. The same wording in the Quran always refers to a near place, something close. That's what it says. There is nothing scientific brilliant here at all. I don't even want to go into what is the lowest land or the highest land or whatever it is in the world in reality. I'm not even looking. I don't even care about that. The text says in a near land. That's all it says. So I'm sorry, we're done.
Listen, if you want to learn more, there's this place. There is this nearest place called Apostate Prophet YouTube channel. And I hope you will go subscribe. Obviously, we got a lot of really great names in the chat right now, of course. The other channels, Harris Sultan. We also have Holy Humanist. We have Gnostic Informant. There's all sorts of great people you should go subscribe to that are in the chat. My friends in the chat down below, please call back when we do this again. I know that we can do these again. I always have fun doing them. I hope that I've been a good host to you, trying to be respectful and allow conversation. These are fun, good exercises, right? But please go subscribe to AP. I always encourage people to check out his material, even if you disagree with him, right? So you can go argue with him over there. He always encourages that, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know what you said, but yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Whatever I say is the gospel. He doesn't argue with me. He knows. Also consider helping support me on MythVision's Patreon. Working very hard to keep this thing going, doing this full time. And of course, I want to bring more of these kind of episodes to you to allow conversations back and forth. I am a skeptic, so typically I have a skeptic bias, I admit. Anywho, any words you want to say to our audience before we go?
Before we go, all I want to say is, look, I said I don't really care, but when I look for the lowest point on the planet, I see the Dead Sea Depression. That's what I see. When I look at what fight this was, I don't even care at this point, but I just want to look anyway. 6:14. What did he say? Damascus. I don't know. I don't care. It's not. It's
Do you have anything coming up for anybody to be aware of?
Right now, I have become a member, a co-host of Atheist Experience. I'm doing a lot of stuff there now. I will have some more debates coming up soon. I will make some more videos and some new projects. There's always something happening. Come to me, come to my channel, come to Apostate Prophet, and
be saved.
Thanks, everyone. And subscribe to Derek. And yeah.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Energy. Yeah.
Do what?
I wish I had more energy. I'm totally out of energy today.
It's totally understandable, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button before you leave. It helps YouTube recognize this channel. And let's do this again. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for joining me, AP. And never, ever forget, we are MythVision.
Don't any of you have the guts to play for blood?
I'm your huckleberry. That's just my game.